A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Falkirk. It is finally time for the final group stage of the IPA Freesports Champions Cup. It is week 16 of 16. It's time to finally find out the entirety of our second round. These are our matches coming up for you this evening. Dan Davey takes on Ryan Fleming. Scott Gillespie then faces off against Stephen Campbell in the second semi-final. The winner of each will advance through to the next round, the final tonight, and then we will decide who is heading through to the last 16 of the IPA Freesports Champions Cup. Our first game then is thus Ryan Fleming on the right, Dan Davey on the left, just as they swap around, and they're going to have the lag. I'd like to say, joined by last week's winner on commentary, Liam Dunster. A very good evening to you. I know you've not had to travel too far to get here today, but are you excited to be reversing roles this week?
Yeah, of course. It's a lot less nervous commentating it as playing, that's for sure.
Well, it's interesting you say that, actually, because most people who I end up interviewing after the match saying that's the hardest bit of everything they do. The playing pool's the easy bit, but it's the other way around for you, is it? Too far to get here today, but are you excited to be reversed?
Just feel a bit different.
That's not too bad then. This is obviously a situation. Here we've got the first match, Ryan Fleming taking on Dan Davey. Ryan Fleming actually was on commentary with us last week. He was very careful, Liam, not to say too many mean things about you, because he knew this situation to be reversed this week. So I'm under orders to tell you that he did that. He's got the first break in this one. And important, of course. Punches it in, and he makes a ball.
Yeah, they've both got big breaks. I've played both of them in IPA tours. Both got huge breaks, both break for the front.
Yeah, it's a nice break that from Ryan. And he's at the table, which is the main thing. Worst possible way to start the night is to break dry. See there, Ryan just deliberating over his choices. Bit of an open table here. What do you think he'll be looking at, Liam?
Before I even speak, he's down queuing up a red. Yeah, I think he'll try and finish these reds. He's only got one tricky ball. That's the red at the very right of the table. Other than that, all the reds go fairly easy. I think he'll try and take that either in the far right bag as we look on the screen, or he'll try and drop it in the middle, but I think he'll prefer to put it in the far right.
Yeah, he'll try to avoid moving it if he can avoid it. Chance for Ryan at the table. He was quick to tell me in the run-up to this one that he's not had much table time in the gap between last week and this week to get any practice in. He's just getting his excuse in a little bit early, but he's had to wait obviously a while, these two players. Week 16, you experienced something similar yourself last week. Everyone's been watching this, itching to get underway, no more than these guys in the final week of competition.
Yeah, you just can't wait to get out there. You see everyone playing in qualifying, you just think, I want that to be me so bad. I think he's opted to just move that then. He's played it well.
Yeah, that's come out nicely for him. Each ball now has a pocket, and Ryan Fleming, big favourite here to take the first frame of this one. It is a race to 6, quick fire games. And can go one way or the other. We have seen some incredibly lengthy encounters despite the in theory fast format. And we've also seen some very, very quick games as well.
Yeah, I think all these reds are going to go in the middle bag. I think he's ideally want to take the one right over the left middle bag now, and then go over to the one in the right middle bag, and then back to the left middle bag, and then black in the right middle bag. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, played it nicely. Shouldn't be too many trip-ups for Ryan here.
Yeah, it should just be try to put this in the right centre and then come back to roughly where it is, round about the black spot area. Yep.
Well, he's starting this off well, Ryan Fleming. It's always the dream start in a TV match. Nerves will always be there. Always the perfect start to get a break and dish away. That's what he should do from here. Just make sure of that one. Black should be routine. Well, it is a bit of a battle of Britain, north of the border. Dan Davey from England, Ryan Fleming representing Scotland tonight. And he takes the first frame very nicely indeed. Break and dish for Ryan Fleming. Perfect start for the Scot. And he'll be really pleased with that. Ryan Fleming goes 1-0 up. And this is what he's been up to recently. This is his previous record in the last 8 or so months. Had a good run at the Scottish Open, got beaten by a very informed John McAllister this year. And I think it says a lot that when you look along that list of opponents that have beaten him, you know, you got Ronan McCarthy in there twice, Ben Davis, the world champion, John McAllister, Craig Marsh, ex-world champion. He's losing to some very, very good players there.
Yeah, they're all top professionals there. I think Andrew Mackay's probably the lowest professional. Even then, he's still a top player there.
And Davey's been in good recent form himself.
Where's the white gone?
Oh, white stays out, so he's at the table. Did make a ball, red's gone down. Does it break again, as you mentioned right at the start, the front break.
Breaking right from the centre of the bulk line there.
You can see the power that Dan's got on that break purely by the fact there's only 4 balls lower than the halfway point of the table. And the big hitters on the top. Shot clock ticking. Takes his extension.
Yep, allowed 1 per frame. Just adds 30 seconds onto your time remaining.
How did you get on with the shot clock last week? Because as we know, you'd like to think about every shot and its possibilities. Is it something that ever intruded into your mind?
Yeah, it did enter my mind, but I actually think it suited me, to be honest. Sometimes I know myself I take a bit too much time, but I just like to make sure it kind of got me flowing into a wee bit of a routine, and then it actually worked out quite well.
You're going to start enforcing it in every tournament now.
It's strange that it's 45 seconds because every other tournament's like 60 seconds, so it's a wee bit shorter, obviously for TV purposes.
That's an important shot. That's worked out pretty well. I just wonder if the
that
one
yellow at the bulk line goes. Well, not the bulk line, the bulk cushion.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Not sure that squeezes past the red. He's still got some issues to iron out here.
So you say it must creep in then, because otherwise he'd be playing a safety shot. But he's still attacking here because I can't see a way of him developing that ball.
Camera angle from above can be a touch deceptive sometimes.
Yeah, I think maybe go cushion off the red if it doesn't go in straight.
Will be a tight one, no doubt about it. But he should be able to get onto it pretty well if he uses the other 2 at the top.
I think he's left himself really straight at this one, so it'll be really difficult to get back up the table to get on any of the 3 balls.
Just saw a good shot there of the some of the artwork that adorns the walls here at the Players Club in Falkirk. This is a club you're very familiar with. Your mug's even up there a few times. This is a very popular place to play pool in these parts.
Yeah, Stephen Allison, the person that runs this here, he's really into his pool. He takes a lot of care of the tables and the players themselves. So yeah, it's a nice touch he's added on the walls here. He's got Team Scotland, the ladies, the under 23s, the men's. Yeah.
Oh, yellow doesn't go. And you can see Ryan Fleming immediately out of his chair. That was a tough shot, that. You just sense that as soon as the very first difficult shot that he had to play with the breaking up of the balls at the top of the table, it's always a difficult table for Dan Davey. He had to play everything millimetre perfect.
Yeah. I think it all went wrong with that kick shot, and he was just all the balls landed on the cushion. But it's landed out really well for Ryan here. Good chance to go 2-0 up.
I was just about to say, how often do you see it that the balls initially at the start look awful, your opposition's cutter, quite a few of your own, and all of a sudden Ryan Fleming is hit it for this frame by a long way.
Yeah, and it's not like any of the yellow balls are in his way here. They're all on the top cushion here, so no obstacles. I think he's opting to pot this one in the far left as we look, and then might even develop that one on the left. He doesn't have to, because if he pots on both here, it'll go in that bag. Yeah, just opting to kick it out. Good shot.
Good chance then here for Ryan Fleming. These three all go, but I should do a bit of work with the white ball here. Comes in behind that red. Worked out pretty well for him, I think.
Yeah, just drop this in the right centre and then left centre, and then the black will go into the close right bag. I think this is thinner than it looks.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's been very deliberate with this shot when maybe it first initially appeared quite straightforward. He does make it look straightforward in the end, Ryan Fleming. And once again, two relatively straightforward shots to take a frame. It's a quick start from the Scotsman. Dan Davey will have to wait a little for his first frame on the board, which is so important in these big matches, just to help you settle.
Yeah, perfect start here for Ryan. He's not missed the ball yet. Great condition, his first frame, then he's came to the table here, and he's got a clean finish.
Nicely done. Really cruised through that, Ryan Fleming. And he'll be really pleased with his start. 2-zip to the Scotsman. If you take a look at Dan Davey's recent form, he has been in really good recent form. Got to the quarterfinals of the Welsh Professional, where he's nearly beaten by Ronan McCarthy. Mark Boyle knocked him out in the semi-final of the English Open. Got to the quarters of the English Professional as well. Been on a bit of a run recently, Dan Davey.
Yeah, he beat myself in that last tournament there, the very last one in May there. He got beat off Gary Clark in the quarterfinals. He actually beat myself in the, I think it was the last 16. Yeah, it was the last 16. He beat me.
So he must be playing well then, is what you're trying to say.
Been really well. He's on form.
Ryan's got himself a second break, and good chance here if he can make this 3-0 and really put the pressure on. And Davey punches through once again.
Ball
And again, he's got a good chance here. Gets a ball. Table looks reasonably open. And There's a replay of the break. You can see just from the right to the centre, cracks into the middle. Look at all the balls on the move. Gets a really good explosion in the pack.
Yeah, he pulls the weight right back and hits the bulk cushion. So it's a really good break. Well controlled. I think he'll try and finish the yellows here. Developing the ball next to the black first shot.
Yeah, he's played that pretty well. He preferred an easier potter because I don't think you can see the one below the black.
I think he's okay if he cuts this yellow into the right centre bag. He's actually pushing that red away from that yellow there, so that yellow going under the bag, and it'll actually be less obstacles in the way. Just wants to make sure he doesn't push the red over the yellow that's in the far left. Using extension here.
Yeah, shot clock was ticking. Yeah, we saw it quite a few times in both your matches last week that you had to play shots whilst that beat was happening with the shot clock. How distracting is it?
It's actually not that off-putting. It would be off-putting if it was just like one beat, but because it's a consistent beat, you know it's coming up, so it doesn't really distract you.
We've yet to, well, I think we've heard it once, but we've yet to, well, we haven't heard it in a while, the klaxon at the end of the shot clock.
Family fortunes one.
He's been very deliberate in his work here.
Yeah, I think he'll take this one to the right centre and then he'll leave the one down the cushion at the right hand side, then come back over to the left hand side and leave himself the choice of two.
He's got an excellent chance of going 3-0 up. Davey's not done a huge amount wrong. That's the nature of this this quick format.
I think Ryan's actually overran that a bit. I think if he left himself a little bit more angle, he could have bounced off the cushion and back over the other side of the table, but he's quite straight on that. He's playing a double on the yellow. I don't think that was his plan originally. I think it's just he left himself too straight in it that he's kind of forced to do that. Changing his path.
That was good. And just the left of the black spot is all that remains for Ryan Fleming, and the black, and a very good chance here to go 3-0 up. And I think it's quite telling, really, that he's not had to play too many difficult shots. His white ball control's been pretty impressive on the whole. Maybe the only error he's made was been straight on that yellow just a moment ago.
Yeah, even then that's been picky, isn't it? It's just he's...
Oh, it's been very picky, yeah.
He's played almost perfect bill here so far. Yeah, just by the face of the black and into the other corner bag.
Lines it up. And bullets it in, it's 3-0. This has been a really impressive start from Ryan Fleming. And already on his second break hit, Dan Davey is going to be feeling a little bit worried, but let's have a quick reminder of where we've been in the Champions Cup. This is the final week of group stage. We started off all the way back in week 1 in Washington. We saw in the first 2 weeks Mark Farnsworth and Ronan McCarthy, and since then the standard of pool really has kept up. We've been around the country, taking us to Wales again, plenty in Solihull, Greenock last week, and Falkirk this. I know you You Scottish guys have had to wait for your turn in the limelight, and fair bit of chat about this competition amongst you both. But it's interesting, the winner of this one is straight in at Chester next week in the knockout round. How big is that?
See, yeah, it's probably is an advantage, to be honest, because if you're on form and you qualify, you know you've only got a week to wait. Whereas people playing like the first and second week, they've played, and then they're waiting about for 16 weeks, and within that period they might have dipped a bit in form. Dry break there.
Oh, Dan Davey could be in a bit of trouble here. Said it in the last frame. He's not really done an awful lot wrong to be 3-0 down. And he's got every chance here, just a dry break. And with the sheer power he gets on it, you wouldn't bet against Ryan making this four. Yeah,
Ryan's not missed a ball yet. Dan Davies only missed one ball and had that dry break there. That's all he's done wrong.
And of course the break is always such a, I don't want to say a lucky shot, but there are elements of luck to it. You can break really well and not make a ball, which is exactly what Dan Davies done here. Look at the spread he's got. Not that Ryan Fleming will be complaining.
No, I think the hardest shot here is probably getting on the black ball. Even then, you just need to leave it near the middle left and then cut the black back into the far right.
Yeah, he's been very deliberate right from the start. Ryan Fleming, he's taken none of these for granted. You get the sense that if he was around the practice table, he'd have already mopped up the fourth frame by now almost. It's he has taken his time, which I know you'll be appreciating, because he apparently always gives you pelters for doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I've had a few things planned to say here, but not sure if I can say them.
He's looking at the plan here, just wants to make sure. I think the key with this one is that the ball he hits first doesn't go safe.
Yeah, he's kind of got to cut the yellow back so it goes full in the face of the other yellow. I'm not sure if you can actually see that part of the ball. Might have to swerve around the yellow to hit that part.
Yeah, you can see it's tight.
Nah, the yellows went safe.
That's what he was fearing.
I think the yellow in the middle of the table here goes past the other yellow into the far right bag.
Looks like it from that angle, doesn't it?
I think the only sort of good thing here is that yellow that's went safe, it actually goes long in off the red in the far left bag as we look. And that might even open the bag up for the black as well.
These are all the processes that are going through Ryan's mind. Elects for the thin yellow, and it goes. So the next yellow should be pretty straightforward, but it's what he does with the white that'll be interesting.
Yeah, he's controlled the white really well there. He's avoided all the reds and made sure he's landed himself on that yellow in the middle bag.
Wants to leave himself a shot on the final yellow. Going to go down the cushion.
Yeah, he's just under hit that about 10 inches. It's going to be a tough shot now to get back on the black as well as the pot down the rail, so it's a really difficult shot here.
Yeah, because of the angle on it, it's going to come away from the cushion quite a bit.
He's going to have to almost hit it quite hard to get back roughly where the yellow is now.
Pot looks very good. How's he potting the black though?
I think there's two ways here. I'm not actually sure if he's planning on putting the black off the side cushion off the red to squeeze it in the bag, or if he's playing the 2-in-1 here, but either way it's a very tough shot.
It's all or nothing for him.
I can't actually see Dan Davey now, but I think he's probably perched up in his seat hoping to get a wee chance here. This is probably the frame that Dan Davey really wants to win. He's not had much of a chance so far, just wants to get one on the board.
Shot clock ticking. Doesn't go.
No.
And this is a big, big opportunity now for Dan Davey.
Yeah, this is the frame that Dan Davey really needs to win. It's
It was
one
a
that he'd
very,
wish,
very tough shot.
one that he'd wish for as well, because all the reds go. There's nothing he needs to develop or anything like that. There's only one ball that he has to sort of land on, and that's the one, obviously, the closest to us now.
In terms of that shot from Ryan, very, very tough one.
Yeah.
Is it one he'd have thought he had a decent chance of making, do you think?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think when he's left himself short on that yellow, he's kind of just wanted to pot the yellow and make sure he's got a shot in the black. He's not perfect on that red. Still fancy him to get it though.
Yeah, I think that expression tells you that he's not perfect on it.
He won't really want to snooker here, to be honest. I think he'll just want to go in first time and finish them.
It's a pot well. Pretty much guaranteed to be on something at the top of the table.
Not actually sure if he is on anything now. Anything easy anyway. Not sure if you can see by the red to get the red that's closest to the far left bag.
Might be alright.
That's a really tough shot in the middle as well.
I think by the way he's looking at that, I think his facial expression might give us the clue as to whether the reds at the top of the table go into the top left pocket. He's called his extension, wants to have a proper look. Even looking at a plant maybe.
I actually think he was lining up the snooker there just to see where he has to land the white. Yeah, he's played it well.
Well, runs out of position. Ryan Fleming does get another shot, but not an easy one at all.
He's played it quite well because ideally Ryan would want to hit the black going up the table, so it sort of goes towards the bag that the black's closest to, but Dan Davey's blocked that way. I think he might have blocked the bulk cushion as well. I think the red closest to it is blocking that.
I think he's swerving this.
Yeah, I think he's just wanting to get a hit here. Yeah.
Yeah, does get the hit. Knocks the black safe-ish as well in the process, but Dan Davey will fancy his chances from here. He's got shot on. The most important thing for Dan here is that he's back at the table with a chance to win the frame. You've got the luxury, really, haven't you, when you've got all your balls on the table and your opponent's got one, to have the snooker as the fallback option.
Yeah, professionals, they don't actually tend to snooker a lot when there's the one ball to your 7 in the situation. They like to go in first time and finish it rather than snookering, because there's always a chance that the person is going to come to the table, hit the white hard against the black, and then it'll go somewhere.
It's a really important frame for Dan to win. Difference between 3-1 and 4-0 is massive.
Just trying to kick the black out there. Just missed it.
Oh, that ball's going to be on the move here.
I'm not too sure. I think he might just drop it in. Yeah, I think he'll just drop it in and then leave himself the cut on the red and play the black down the rail. think you're right. He's going to ping it round angles. Nicely played.
See there at the bottom, the match length just coming up to the half-hour mark. First 3 frames have gone by pretty quickly for Ryan Fleming. This one is taking a touch longer, with Ryan in first and Dan second to the table, and he's got a shot on the black, pretty straight up the side rail to get his first on the board, which is all he'll want. Oh, has he missed it? He has. Oh, I can't believe it. Ryan Fleming doesn't even offer up a chance to overthink it. He pots it in for 4-0. Well, what a horrible moment for Dan Davey, just as we said how important it would be to get the frame on the board.
Yeah, he'll be kicking himself here. He had a great chance. Ryan obviously missed the black in the first place to give Dan Davey the chance, but that's one you've really got to pounce on. Just failed to get the first frame on the board for himself.
Incredible moment. And Dan Davey now has a mountain to climb.
Yeah, he's not shown it, but he will be really furious inside himself.
Yeah, he's done pretty well to remain, well, at least on the exterior, pretty calm and composed.
Fifth frame, Ryan Fleming's break. Leading 4 frames to 0.
Of course, Ryan has the break. Great chance to go 5-0 up, because his breaks have been very, very good.
Yeah, he's broken dish 2 out of 2 so far. I want to try and continue that.
Oh, he's unlucky.
Wasn't sure what was happening with the weight there. Hit off the knuckle again, and then back in that bag.
A shot and a visit for Dan Davey, and maybe a chance at redemption for the last frame. Take a look at this. Whiting off the jaw, is it? No, no, no. Third time lucky. That is pretty unlucky for Ryan Fleming there. Dan's going to split up this little cluster next to the middle pocket. Leaves it over the pocket.
I think he was just trying to pot that. I think he's going yellow balls here. Just sort of knocking it away from the yellow, freeing up to the yellow ball. So just drop this into the left centre.
We mentioned a couple of frames ago the nature of the break. It is a touch left to chance, and not more so with that most recent example. When Ryan first saw that cannon off the jaw, he'd have been delighted that it didn't go straight in. And eventually it was kicked not once but twice to take it down.
Yeah, I think Dan's actually mapped this out pretty well. I think he's going to take the one. He's lining up. I don't know what way Dan's going here. But he went a completely different way. Yeah, he's played that well right behind the yellow. I'm not sure if the yellow near the black spot passes that other yellow in the corner back. Quite hard to see from that camera angle. really get much movement on this white ball here because it's quite kind of drop it in the middle bag here.
Yeah, just lining it up.
Yeah, just looking at where he wants to leave the white ball after he pots this heel on this bag.
Slightly awkward games, changes his mind a couple of times. Punches it in nicely, he's it exactly where his cue point is just a moment ago.
I think he's actually landed the wrong side of the heel there. I think he wanted to screw up a little bit further, a few inches more. I think if he drops in the yellow in the middle of the table, he's actually going slightly up the table. He'll leave himself a cut on the yellow, which isn't ideal. And I think he's actually lining up the double for the shot after this. Yep. So I thought he'd took this yellow first shot. Well, not the very first shot, but after he's put the red down near the bag, he thought he'd have dropped this in the middle bag because it's quite a tough ball.
It is always so interesting how every player sees the game entirely differently. Dan Davey then with a double. And he nails it.
The Dan Davey double.
And he's left himself good on the black as well. This one should be straightforward. No such nerves this time around. He gets a frame on the board. He'll be so happy with that. These are the stats. As it stands, it is 4-1 to Ryan Fleming as we head it towards the break this evening. You can see there Ryan Fleming has been in fantastic form. 32 on the board, 2 break and dishes, and really only one error with the break, which went in off. Good performance so far from Ryan.
Yeah, the breakaway went in off, and then that one missed pot with he was trying to squeeze the black past the red ball. That's the only mistakes he's made, and he's winning 4-1 here, so it's looking good so far for Ryan.
It certainly is. We will find out if he can make it through to tonight's final. That's coming up after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
And a very warm welcome back to Falkirk. Dan Davey taking on Ryan Fleming in our first semi-final tonight in week 16 of the IPA Freesports Champions Cup. What Dan Davey will be so frustrated with that. He goes in off just as he was hoping to make inroads back into this semi-final. He might well have just handed Ryan a big initiative there. That's a bad time to go in off.
Yeah, again, it's ideal for Ryan here. He's not got nothing that has to do in this frame, really. He doesn't have to develop anything. It's ideally situated, to be honest. Doesn't have to take these in any sort of order. I think he's just freeing the bag up so that red at the right hand side goes into that bag. Of course, using his free shot up there to pot the yellow. So it's still open table.
It will be red's the choice here, and everyone now has a pocket and always working one part of the table. His white ball control generally has been pretty spot on so far in the semi-final. Ryan Fleming's played well.
Of course, Ryan Fleming here was the underdog coming into the match. Dan Davey's actually the professional seed in this match. Well, in this group.
Nobody queuing on that one.
I think he'll just be playing the plant here, red onto red, and just holding the white ball so he can take that red at the centre of the bar cushion. It's bounced a little bit more than expected. I think he was going to have to take the one he just hit there next.
Pretty nice, and you make him odds-on favourite here to go 5-1 up.
Yeah, I think this is a key shot here. He's got to put this along the rail as well as get good position on, ideally the red at the left. So you can just drop the one at the right, and then depending on what angle he leaves, you could actually put the black in the same middle bag.
This is the key to the frame hit. Good shot here, and the rest should really take care of itself.
Oh, hasn't bounced as much as he would have liked, but I think he's got enough angle there to just drop the one at the left middle and then come up and down the table and landing just past the two yellows.
Does have to be careful though to avoid those two yellows. See there, that red cuts in okay, but he needs position on the other one.
I think he should be okay if he just puts a touch of left hand side on it. He'll avoid them. Is it going to reach? Don't think it is.
And that was the risk.
I think he's snookered on that. This is the way into the match that Dan Davey would have liked.
Yeah, it's another prime example of one slightly loose positional shot having a greater impact later on down the frame.
Yeah, you're kind of just chasing yourself after that, trying to get back into position.
good way short there is Ryan. And
At this stage, I don't think a hit on the red is even good enough. I think he's actually got to try and plot this somewhere. Because
yeah,
if he hits
I
it,
think he's looking for the reverse double. Maybe. He's changing his mind, I think.
because he knows that if he just hits it, then he's going to lose the frame. So he's got to hit it with pace. He's just rolled up to that. In my eyes now, he's just sort of giving that frame away. He's, I think yellows are just favourite here. He almost, Dan Davey almost can't lose the frame. Whereas if he hit it hard, there was a chance he might fluke it.
Yeah, the good old-fashioned hit and hope still is a viable option.
Yeah, of course.
This could be a big reprieve for Dan this. After going off at the start and the way he left those balls for Ryan, he'd have been very, very worried about potentially not coming to the table again. At 5-1 down with Ryan to break next. This is a lifeline for him, and you just feel that he has to take it.
He's just trying to make up his mind, and now I'm not sure if he's going to pot the ball first and then snooker, or if he's going to snooker straight off here, or if he's even thinking about finishing it. I think he's just going to play the snooker here, hit the yellow closest to the left cushion and snooker behind the other one. Yeah, he's played it well. I think Ryan's actually going to have to come off the cushion that the white's closest to and try and plot it the red in the right centre.
Yeah, there's always a risk here when this shot is played, because obviously if Ryan hits it, it is pretty close to the middle pocket. Hits it on the right side, he's got every chance of burying it. It's a tough one to judge.
I think he's trying to go 3 cushions here. 2 cushions.
Oh, it was a great effort.
I couldn't see what side he was putting on there. I thought it was side cushion, bottom cushion, side cushion.
That was a great attempt.
Yeah, almost spotted that there.
I was going to say, and there was the gamble, wasn't it? That shot was on. If it had nestled in the middle bag, it would have been one of the shots of the tournament so far, I think. Dan Davey eventually gets his desired result, because he's at the table. Chance to finish this frame off and keep himself alive in this semi-final.
White ball's close to the middle bag there.
It's very close. Oh. Another inch on that and it was curtains.
Cued it
Lets
well.
that one in, as if it was all intended. Oh, it wobbled a little bit, but it's in. It's 4-2. Dan Davey does indeed get a lifeline in this semi-final. This is a reminder of what we've already seen in this competition. This is the last 64, so here are all of our semi-finals. And you can see your own name on there. Lynn, good 6-2 win.
Over, yeah, Mark's brother, yeah. Mark's the brother of Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. And some really, really good matches in there as well. And some really close games. Particularly, you see the ones at the bottom there, 6-5 and 6-4. Drew Hughes, 6-5 over Rab Fee was a marathon. Simon Ward, Mika Rooney, 6-5 is maybe my semi-final of the tournament so far as well.
I didn't actually see it. I think what was Simon winning
You missed
convincingly
a
at the start,
cracker.
and then
Yeah, Simon Ward was 5-1 up. And Mika Rooney brought it back to 5-5. Simon had to win the decider. Terrific game it was. We'll see actually some next week, I believe, in Chester for the first lots of last 16 matches. There's the black ball, which stays over the pocket. This is a good situation then for Ryan. Yeah, it's set up to be a cracking first week of knockouts next week. Mark Farnsworth versus Christian Phillips, Simon Ward versus the winner of these two semi-finals, and then the final later on tonight. I'm sure they'll all be watching eagerly to see who they could potentially be facing.
I think that's a good split for Ryan here. He's perfect on his only tough yellow here. He's just got to plot that, and then I think he's got the frame pretty much. All the reds are near the black. You don't pass the black, so he's in perfect control here.
Yeah, it was a really nice break from Ryan. That's been the one thing that I say hasn't let him down. He did going off pretty unluckily on one occasion, but other than that, he's broken really, really well in this game, and it's given him the advantage.
Yeah, I think this will be his third break in dish. So he's breaking it really well. Dan Davey's break hasn't worked so far for him. It's quite weird because they both break the exact same from pretty much the same position, so it's quite weird that one works and one doesn't.
Just goes to show, doesn't it, how little of an exact science it is. We saw last week, of course, in your final with Mark Boyle, one of the best breakers in the business, couldn't get a ball.
Yeah, I actually break very similar to Mark. I hit the second ball as well. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen my first, the semi-final. A side broke, I think I got a dry break, a side broke and I went in off.
You switched
and
up?
Then I'm like, I'm not having any of that anymore. Broke for the front, very similar to like these guys are doing tonight, and it worked for me. And I continued doing that in the final against Mark, and then broken dished 4.
So what's his strategy for round 2? Staying down the middle?
Just depends, I don't know.
Oh, and Ryan's missed the plan.
Like I say, I think he's okay though, because I think he'll get another visit to the table here. The reds are really tough here to finish them, so got a feeling Dan might play one snooker. Maybe not straight away, but he'll maybe pot a ball, maybe put another one and snooker up.
Yeah, you see that little wry smile on the face of Ryan Fleming. It wasn't an easy shot, but he's, Liam rightly says, he's big favourite still in this frame. The reason why is the black at the top end of the table, covering up Dan's main pocket for his reds.
See, the good thing about these rules compared to world rules, in black ball rules you can actually pot your last red and the black, and it's okay, you win the frame. Whereas in world rules you obviously can't do that. So it's quite attacking, because you can just leave his red near the black till last and then put them both in the same bag.
It would be a bold move.
Yeah. But if he's looking to finish it, I think that's what he'll do.
Yeah, the skill shot is a tough one to execute at the best of times.
He's actually looking at doubling this red and then making the white come off the side cushion and knock the red away from the black. So So 2 of his toughest balls out in 1 shot.
This would be a very, very
He
good
needs
shot if
this
he
to
can
go
do it.
though. It's went, but he's not kicked the red like he planned.
And it's made the really aggressive option, the skill shot, more difficult now because there's a bit more
Yeah.
separation.
He may just tuck up here behind the ball he's closest to, but wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if he goes for it still.
Ooh, double don't make it.
I'm
Just
not
having a
sure
look
if
at the table.
Ryan's definitely not on the hanging yellow, but I'm not sure if he's on the yellow to plant onto the other yellow. If not, he'll have to take the yellow at the right, and that's, I think he's queuing right over that red ball.
Maybe sucking his stomach in over the black ball as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first thing Dan wanted to look at was...
Yeah, if he's on the plant, I think that's what Ryan's taking on there now, so he's obviously on it. Played it well. Should be 5-2.
It's come out really nicely for him. And the only risk there was sending the first ball, the plant safe, but that's come out pretty perfectly. Good angle to get up to the black. The black, of course, is elementary as long as you can see it. Wobbled a little bit. Won't take the same chance with the black, rolls it in. 5-2, he's one away, Ryan Fleming. Big, big next frame, big next break. Dan Davies, we take a look at the other lot of semi-finals. This page is now entirely complete. Some really impressive performances in there. Pick of the games from that page, I think, was probably Ben Davis versus Andy Lucas, the battle of the current and one of the former world champions in the game. Really high quality match, and Ben just shaving it in the end, only to go on and then lose to Toby Bolt in the final. He knocked out Rob Donkin. That was the group of death, as you could phrase it.
Yeah, Toby's a very good player. Played him a couple of times, and I've seen his name a lot in the IPA tours getting to the later stages. He's a very good player, and I don't think it even surprised a lot of people that he qualified from that group. I think pretty much any of the 4 names could easily qualify. That was probably the tightest odds. So I don't think the person at the bottom, like the underdog, would be more than 3-1 or whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those, I think, where just take a look at this break. Is it going to come up dry again? I think it is. Dan Davey snatches up his chalk. He's not happy. And when the breaks are going like this, there's only so much you can do. He's got a fantastic spread. You can see 75% of the tables in the top half. Just won't go for him.
This finish isn't as easy as he's been leaving all the other frames anyway. He has to work for this one.
Yeah, that's his only saving grace, I think. There's a couple of options you can actually look at here. What would be the route that you'd go in this situation?
I think if he puts the red at the far right and then leaves himself the red at the white's closest to the now, and he could actually pot that and kick the... Was that a plant? That's even easier then if it is a plant. Take that back. It is quite an easy route then for Ryan. I thought he would have had to develop that, but obviously he doesn't. There's a
funny old game,
There's
isn't
a
it?
referee, Terry Lapsley, in the background there.
Oh, it wobbled.
It's hit the far jaw there, quite far out. I'm surprised that actually went.
It's just been one of those games, I think, for these two players. Pretty much everything's gone in Ryan's favour, and running the ball hasn't gone for Dan. And in these rapid fire games, first to 6, sometimes that can be all it takes, and that's that.
I think the break so far has been the major difference. Ryan's broke 4. He's got a ball from 3 of them, and he's broken dish 2 of them. So he's staying at the table, whereas Dan's only got 1 off the break out of his 4. He's Phil broke once and Roy broke twice. So
I think the one moment that will really stick in Dan's craw is the miss on the black, which gave Ryan a free frame. Other than that, he's really not had a lot to work with.
Don't know how tight that red is into the right centre bag here. That he'll be taking the shot after this. Few options here for the black, just has to choose a bag and then commit to it.
Just quite tight, as you can see. And he's got to nip around the table a little bit. Clock ticking.
I think I might have misheard him, but I thought he called extension, and I think he might have already used it in this frame. Is that right?
He has, yeah. You can see there the extension is showing on the screen. That is controlled by the official timer.
What shot was it he used it on? I can't actually remember what one it was. Ryan obviously thought he hadn't used it, but he's rushed that shot and he's landed a bit out of position here.
It's a tough shot, but it will take him through to tonight's final. Great recovery from Ryan Fleming. Great performance from Ryan Fleming. Puff of the cheeks, but he's absolutely delighted to make it through. And this group seed has gone out. Dan Davey beaten by 6 frames to 2. Same scoreline that we saw twice last week. And a story really, as it tends to be so often, of the breaks. Dan didn't have the breaks. Ryan just looked so deadly every time he came to the table.
Yeah, Ryan didn't make much mistakes at all. I mean, 2 mistakes race to 6 isn't bad at all.
And that is our first semi-final. Our second one, Scott Ross against Scott Gillespie, is coming up for you next.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
2, 3. Mic test 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Testing mic. Testing interview mic. Getting that, receiving that loud and clear. He's probably going to speak a little bit louder.
Yeah, sure. Let's bring you in, mate. Yeah, these are levels, mate. These are levels. I'll be talking at this. I'll be talking at this. I'll be talking at this. We ain't got highlights. Okay. Yeah, cool. I'll let him know.
Do you mind just, it's your right, sorry. A bit more? Bit more right, sorry. As though... If I was not there. As in the... Oh, sure. Okay. Is that better? It's more exposed. It's exposed.
Hello. Just let Steve know Liam's on comms if he needs to talk to him.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Well, very warm welcome back to Falkirk. Ryan, what a win for you. You were nervous about this last week on the commentary, I know, but you must be so pleased to get that win and into tonight's final.
Yeah, absolutely delighted to get the win. I was quite relaxed there. I got out of the blocks quick, so I think that was the key, really, open a good lead before Dan got his hand on the table. So.
And the big thing for us on the commentary noticing was your break seemed to be working for you so well tonight. Apart from the white going in, obviously, on that one, but other than that, it seemed to be really effective for you.
Yeah, my break worked well. I had one bad one. I think the white was almost going in anyway, so I deserved that. But apart from that, my break is something I do rely on. I do practice a bit on it, and it paid off.
And in terms of your next match, obviously the final, two players here, two fellow Scots who you know. What are you looking forward to in this next semi-final?
I'm not too sure, really. I don't want to look too much into that. I know I'm playing well. I know I'm just going to play the table. Whoever I meet in the final, then we'll see what happens.
Well, we wish you all the very best of luck.
Thanks very much.
That's us heard from Ryan Fleming there, winner of our first semi-final match. Introducing next to the stage, here's Scott Ross versus Scott Gillespie.
Yeah, it was nice to hear from Ryan. Actually, he was fairly relaxed in victory. I expected him almost to be a little bit more pleased with himself, but very calm, very relaxed, and I think he's just recognised that he played pretty well.
Yeah, I think he knows he played well. It's just he doesn't like to show a lot of emotion, a bit like myself. He's just trying to remain calm, to be honest with you. I think it was a very big match for himself. Obviously, first match on the big screen. So
it's a good player as well.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, Dan Davey obviously was the seed for this tournament here, for the group. So it'll be good to get a victory over him.
I did just get a quick word with Dan just before I went over to chat with Ryan. Said, what did you make of that? And he's just like, well, I can't say the entire sentence he said, but it's essentially along the lines of, it's just the breaks, isn't it? Sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it's simple as that. It's first to sixes. It's not a long race at all. I mean, 2 breaks. I mean, you could be 4-0 down. You could break and finish.
He very
finish
nearly
your
was, of
break,
course.
and then-
That's,
yeah.
you know.
And if you're 4-0 down first to 6, it's almost over already. So it's not exactly a long race. So it really is. It's crucial to get your breaks working.
And I think the issue that Dan has with his break, which isn't necessarily a problem when it's working well, but it's a big problem when it isn't going in for him, is that he tends to smash into them so hard. He tends to spread the balls perfectly for his opponent.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he could hit them the exact same way tomorrow and get a ball every single time and then leave himself an easy finish each time. But like you say, he could hit them, not get a ball, and then leave his opponent an easy finish. Just depends.
Oh, Scott Ross versus Scott Gillespie, the battle of the two Scots in more than one sense. And I know Scott Ross spent an awful lot of time this afternoon practicing on this table. And so he hopefully should have the lay of the land in that sense.
It doesn't show it with his lag anyway. He was a good 1.5 foot away from the baulk cushion there.
What do we know about these two players? What can we expect from this second semi-final?
I don't think nerves will play a part here at all. I think, again, it'll just go down to the breaks. Hardly any missed balls, a few dishes from each player, so it'll be a good match.
Scott Gillespie with the first break of the match. And there is the first break. And, Scott Gillespie in the black polo remains at the table. He's got a yellow down.
One with the black polo and the collar up.
He's elected reds. I think that's the only chance he's really had to pot a ball.
Yeah, I think reds are pretty ideal for him there. Eventually in the frame he'll have to pot this red in the right middle, and then that lands him perfect for the one at the far right. I think he might take that last.
And both these two players will be wanting to settle as quickly as possible. Something that Ryan said in his interview was a big help for him, the fact that he could reel off the first few frames.
Yeah,
just sets him up so perfectly for the rest of the match.
Yeah, and unfortunately that didn't happen for Dan. I mean, he didn't really get a clear-cut chance until he was 3-0 down, and then when he did get the chance, he's obviously missed that black. So
good chance in here for Scott Gillespie. He's not messed about in any way. He's been pretty direct.
just has to follow this one through, short of the black ball, and then drop it in the middle, and then far right, like I said earlier on.
Looks pretty nailed on for that.
Might even want to just lightly kiss into yellow, create a bit more room. Can go a few different ways. Nope, just following through, give himself an angle.
Just a little look around at the angle of it with his Cantona style collar.
punching it and coming across the table.
And he looked very, very smooth right from the start here, Scott Gillespie. No sign of nerves whatsoever. Breaking a dish to kick things off in our second semi-final. Perfect start on Scott Gillespie. Big smile on his face. And well, there might be as well. That's a really nice start. Here's a look at what he's been up to in recent months. He's had a bit of a mixed bag, but he's played some very good plays. He actually played Dan Davey, the other semi-finalist, in the Scottish Open this year, but we talked actually about Toad Bolt in the last game, and you see there he's one of the top amateurs, and the fact that I think Scott Gillespie's running him very close.
2 deciders each time, yeah.
Says how good he is. UK amateur quarter-final last year as well. Last 16 of the European amateurs.
I think he's high up in the amateur rankings, so he'll be invited to be professional next year anyway.
Scott Ross, the lefty.
I think Scott Ross is the exact same. I think he's high up in amateur rankings, so...
Oh, he just makes a ball right at the end there. He'll be really pleased with that. He's at the table. I don't think he's got anything particularly easy, though. He really does punches break through, does Scott Ross. There's a lot of movement.
Yeah, I think Scott likes to screw the weight back away from the pack so that the weight doesn't really get kicked about the place, but sometimes he screws the weight back and it goes straight in the corner bag, or a ball flies up the other side of the table and kicks it in anyway. Just like you said earlier on, it's all down to luck.
Looks like a safety first shot for Scott Ross, which will be a source of frustration for him, especially having made a ball off the break and getting a pretty good spread, but there was just nothing on for him at all.
Yeah, again, down to luck. I mean, that weight could have landed literally anywhere on the table, but landed in a position where he couldn't get an easy pot.
Yeah, there really wasn't an awful lot of place on the table that you wouldn't have been able to pot at least one ball. There's a cluster at the bottom of the table, red and a yellow, which would need looking at regardless of the choice of colour. Scott, I think, played the plant to pot there, didn't get it. And the table was changed pretty considerably after that shot. I think it's tough to say, but yellow's the obvious choice of those three over the pocket at the top of the table, but again, there's nothing easy.
Yeah, I think it'll be another safety shotgun up here. Right, he's going red, he's putting that in the corner and screwing into the reds. Yep, and he's unfortunate that red stayed near that corner bag.
Yeah, played that pretty nicely. Just got a little bit of work to do on.
Yeah, it was a very attacking shot, because he's even if he did solve that problem there, he's still got the problem of the red that's stuck to the yellow ball, sort of near the black spot, down from the black spot to the left. Trying to kick that ball away, and he's unfortunate again. It's not going for him this frame.
Yeah, just needed a fraction more on that just to.
I think it's just how thin he caught the red. If he caught a bit thicker, it might have bounced further away from the cushion. Very clever shot if he blocks that. Good shot. Just blocked that yellow from going down into the obvious bag at the close right.
And almost is daring Scott Gillespie to clear out the yellow at the top of the table as well.
Yeah, he's blocked him from every ball on the table apart from the two, so he's got to sort of forced to take one of them on.
Yeah, very good shot that from Scott Ross. Shot clock ticking for Scott Gillespie, who uses the extension. Of course, the cueing's awkward, even if he does want to take it on. Cushion first.
Just underhit it a wee bit, I think. Don't know if he's got the cut on in the same bag.
You see Scott Ross there giving face a bit of a wipe. It is a very, very warm day in Scotland, which is not something we say very often. This is baking up in Falkirk today. And you can see there most of the crowd in shorts and t-shirt, having made the most of the sunshine. It is pretty airy in here, but I think when you tie in the general heat with the pressure of playing in a televised semi-final
Yeah.
pool, the Peter Sweat just starts
I'm
to form.
not sure. See the yellow near the black spot that we've been talking about, the one with the yellow and the red stuck together? I don't think that goes.
I just wonder how he's approaching this, if it does.
Is he looking to follow it through and double it in the middle bag, perhaps? Even then it looks tight from there. Not sure what he's planning on here. It doesn't squeeze by the red next to the black, don't think.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a problem to sort out here. I think he's going to try and look to leave the double, judging by where he's leaving the white.
Looks tight to me, but if it does, he's landed pretty good in it.
And he's guaranteed to be close to the black as well. He's landed on it, but I don't think he's 100% sure.
I think he's just seen how far up the cushion he can actually hit without contacting the red.
Pretty good.
Really, really good.
Oh, it's a good shot.
Good finish from there. Great finish.
Should be a pretty big bag, this. It is. Scott Gillespie goes 2 up. And that was a really, really impressive clearance, actually, because Scott Ross did go for it first, but he did not leave Scott Gillespie a very easy chance. The safety he played, we were both very...
Yeah, I thought that was a great shot he played.
That's nicely done from Scott Gillespie. This is Scott Ross's recent record. He's also a very, very good amateur, as we can see. He got to the semi-finals of the English amateur recently as well. Welsh amateur final back in February, where he lost to Lee Clough, as everyone seems to be doing in 2018. And beaten by Craig Marsh in the World Championships earlier on this year as well, which, well, can happen to anyone. And so it's a good battle between two very, very good amateurs, this. Should be a really close game.
Third frame, Scott Gillespie to break. Lead at 2 frames to 0.
So all 4 of these players are breaking from the front.
I
No
think we
ball
saw
support,
your transition last week and thought that must be the way to do it.
Yeah, I think on this table it really is the way to do it. Just the balls seem to go everywhere because it's a brand new cloth that's on it. The only games that get played on this table are the ones on the Monday night.
Yeah, it was something that Ryan actually said. Can't actually remember now if it was off camera or on, but when I was chatting to him after his first semi-final, he mentioned, which I thought was surprising. I said it was surprising at the time was he felt like he struggled to keep control of the white ball in the early frames, which was something we praised him for. Was it was generally his control of the white ball. He said the table played very, very fast and it took him by surprise. He hit it from us at least.
Yeah, I think it's because it's brand new, it does run that a little bit more than you expect. Got a good layout here. He just has to get on the red that's to the left of the black, pot that and kick into the yellow that's next to it, and that'll free up the red in the left cushion.
Extension called by Scott Ross. There's the key shot here, is that red right by the left middle pocket. Look to free it
Just
here.
wants to stun it that yellow. Played it good, but the yellows came back and stuck on the white. I don't think he's not played that good actually. That red's still pretty safe on that side cushion. Don't think he can get in to cut it in the middle bag.
No, it does look very, very tight there, and you obviously can't get directly behind it either with where the yellow is. There's a little bit more work to do here. Not actually 100. So he can get to the red, to the right centre. He can get to the potting angle of that one.
I think he'll probably just cut this over the bag. Play a safety shot here.
Hasn't covered it though, as you can see. Hasn't left Scott Gillespie anything easy though. Does have maybe something of a free shot towards the top of the table. Can look to get those two
Yeah,
yards
he's almost
cushion
got a free
closer.
shot because that red's pretty safe. So I think Scott might just maybe take on the plant down the rail. I think that's what he's looking at. I mean, even if he doesn't get in, gets the bag, it's still a good shot. I think he'll come back to the table. Don't think he can see the plant straight on. No, I think he was looking at hitting the cushion first and then playing the plant down the rail. Just make the two bad balls good.
Right, he's gone with extension just for a little bit more time. It is a devilishly tricky shot, this. Might not necessarily expect to pot it, but even just to get close is going to take a good shot.
As long as he doesn't leave the one down from the black, because if he leaves him the angle, Scott could pot that and then come for the back cushion and kick into the yellow. The same yellow that he kicked last time to free up that red. I think that's what he might do. He might pot the red out and open and then do that as last shot. I think that goes by the yellow here. Just looking at where he wants to leave the white after he pots this red.
Clock's ticking. Both players have used their extension.
And he's got the angle he was wanting a bit closer than he wanted to.
Oh, here's the replay of that one. Absolutely cannoned the shot. Hit it really hard. Caught the fluke, obviously, in the opposite corner.
I was waiting to click the missed pots there, but it went in.
And he has got the angle to move up to that red by the middle.
Still a tricky shot.
Oh, definitely. This is awkward queuing as well. He's not got the flick.
It's a really tough double as well. Trying to double this in the right centre. I suppose the good thing is if he does get a double, I think the white's going to stay near that area, so he can easily get in the black.
Tough shot this. This is in no way a gimme. In fact, I think he just played the safety. How safe is it though is the question. I think Scott Gillespie could take this one on down the rail. And if he does, it goes.
Screws it right back, gets a safe white just in case he missed it. Good shot.
Were you surprised by Scott Ross not going for the double there?
Yeah, it must have been right tight against the cushion. It must have been a really tricky shot. I mean, I can't really see much from the camera angle here, so he's obviously got a better view than me. So that tells me that it didn't even double. I think if he went for the double, it would have double kissed. So the white would have got in the way of the double.
Didn't quite go for Scott Ross, and now Scott Gillespie with an excellent chance to go 3-0 up here.
Wouldn't be a bad shot to just hit the one in the cushion and snooker him here, but that's not Scott Gillespie's style. Especially when the red's right over the bag. Overhit that a little bit, but he's still okay.
Not quite the angle he wanted. With the yellow being pretty close to that pocket, I don't think he'll mind too much about that.
The double
He's
in the
played the
big
double
bag.
to hold it. It's nicely played by Scott Gillespie. It's pretty straight. In fact, nearly bang on straight. Runs it through. It's nicely played. Not afraid to really get into his gearing, Scott Gillespie. 3-0. Perfect start from Scott Gillespie. 3 frames on the board, none conceded. A couple of slip-ups, but other than that, he's looked very, very solid.
Yeah, there's actually been no missed pots in the match. It's all just been safety shots that have the other person's finished, to be honest. I don't think I can class it as a missed pot when Scott Ross sort of hit it hard and then just flicked it in another bag, so I won't be harsh and say that's a missed pot. It wasn't the intended bag, but
You'll be having over it if you do that, I think.
yeah.
Still smile on the face of Scott Ross, which is good to see. Doesn't look too concerned.
Scott Ross is actually known for his major comebacks. There's been a few times he's come back from quite a large deficit. One was in a major final. Sorry, John Brownlee, if you're watching, but John Brownlee was 6-0 up on him in the European final when Scott Ross won 7-6.
I mean, there's comebacks and then there's that.
Yeah.
7 on the spin. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be delighted that you brought that up. He's watching.
Yeah, I was actually watching that final right next to it, and when John spotted the ball to go 6-0 up, I've actually said to the person sitting next to me, "What's the odds of a comeback here?" and I think they gave me like 1,000 to 1, but I didn't bet it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have a fairy tale story there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the tropical vibes in the Players Club in Falkirk, all the,
Yeah,
all the
different colours.
spectators in brightly coloured shorts. It is very, very hot up in Scotland today.
Well, hot for us anyway.
No, I think hot for anyone, mate, to be honest with you. Scott Ross just covers the pocket. Don't think that'll go down as a miss part. It's a deliberate safety shot. Interesting table here for Scott Gillespie. Little delicate one. And I think again he's just want to cover the pocket. Bit of a safety duke off here between the two. Two very aggressive players. It's almost strange to see them
Yeah, I
playing
just
these
think
delicate shots.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it to go for the game here. So they're just playing a few safety shots, the percentage shots, getting in control.
Scott was looking to get around the back of the red there, I think.
Yeah, he's just shaking his head there. It's quite a poor shot.
It's not a drastic error in the sense it's not going to open up the frame for...
No, Scott's just going to free this red away from that bag now. Oh, don't think he meant that double kiss here. If he just freed that red away from the bag there, Ollie, Scott Gillespie's reds, I keep on wanting to say Scott, but they're both called Scott. Scott Gillespie's balls would all be free and they could all go in bags, so bad shot there from Gillespie.
Chance wasted. A reprieve for Scott Ross. Still doesn't get it right.
I think Scott might go for the attacking shot here. Might pot this one he's closest to and screw right back up the table and try and pot the yellow over the far right bag.
Yeah, of course, skill shots don't have to involve potting two in the same pocket.
But this has been a bit of a safety battle so far, so he could easily just hang this bag. I think he was trying to go into that there.
It's come out okay for him. He's still got a shot to pot, but it's just congested, isn't it? That's a pretty good shot, that, actually, from Scott Gillespie. He's not really given Scott Ross a lot to go at here.
I think it's just allowed Scott Ross to have a free shot. He's just going to sort of free up his yellow here, try and get a safe white, but he's underhit it. If that rolled on another foot or so, he'd have been snookered on all his balls.
There seems to be a little bit concerned with his cue at the moment, Scott Ross. Don't know if it's just
How do you mean?
pool player paranoia. Just seems to constantly be checking the tip of it every chance he gets.
I've never noticed that.
Keep an eye on it. And say I know a fair few players are extremely paranoid about
Yeah.
things like that, and some will never ever look happy, just even if they're 7-0 up.
Extension.
Is that aimed at me?
Saying nothing. So in this safety battle, as it currently is, that we're constantly sort of looking for who holds the advantage. Which way is this sort of leaning? Who's
Yellows. It's got to be yellows. Scott Ross is in control here. I think what he could do here is the yellow that's at the far left, he could double that out and sort of kick the red over by that bag and get even more control. But I'm not sure if we've seen that. Ran a few inches, he was right in behind that yellow ball.
Yeah, it's a nice little idea that actually. It was an ambitious attempt at the snooker, but he wasn't far off getting a really good one.
The frame's opening up now though. Try to get him behind that yellow, he's played a really good shot there.
Yeah, really nice. I think the only ball that Scott Gillespie can see is the one that's right over the pocket.
Yeah, he doesn't really want to plot that one. Don't know if he can just roll up to it. Did he call for a total there and the ref came over and did they say if it was a total snooker or not? I'm not sure.
I don't think the referee's given a total snooker.
Everyone laughing there, I'm not entirely sure what was said. Yeah, good hit.
And he might get the double bonus of blocking that pocket. It's close.
Yellow still creeps in.
Scott Ross won't be far off thinking about going game. He's still yet to claim a frame, of course, in this semi-final.
In practice, I think he'd just go for the 2-in-1 here and try and develop all the balls in here in one shot and then finish it. But I don't think he'll want to be doing that at 3-0 down.
Yeah, scorer's extension. Well, this might just spice up the safety battle. Neither have got their extensions, so they'll always play on a 45-second shot clock. Might just force an error.
I think he can put this red right down the rail and off the yellow ball. Free up the red at the close left as we look. Not sure what his plan is for the one that's right next to the yellow. Don't know if he's going to go into it now or not. I didn't think he put that as clean as he did.
Wanted to miss that almost, didn't he?
Yeah.
And now Scott Ross is at a huge advantage. A lot less traffic for him to navigate. Scott Gillespie's got to get seriously clever here to try and stop any progress.
Yeah, I don't think there's much he can do here, to be honest.
I think Scott Gillespie sits down there and knows that should be frame over.
Yeah, he might get back to the table, but Gillespie knows that this frame's Scott Ross's.
Just a case now for Scott Ross as to how he goes about his work. Can take his time, continue the safety aspect of the frame. Like doing that. Now this is rare we see this in black ball because of the rules that you have to hit a caution after contact. It's not often that you see this sort of roll at play.
Yeah, I think this is a really good rule, to be honest. It just stops you rolling up behind a ball in the middle of the table. You've actually got to hit a ball, then hit a cushion and try and get a behind ball, so it does make it a lot more challenging. That's really unfortunate.
Isn't it just? That's not the outcome he was after at all there. He's got a bit of a job on. Figure this one out. I think he's going to double in behind. He's played it nicely, but he's still having to work really hard.
I think he's gave Gillespie a glimmer of hope in this frame now.
Double's missed, and
Gillespie's back at the tail, but there's nothing much he can do here. Yeah, so this is a table we use only on the Monday League, isn't it? Yep. I think it was a brand new table when it first started the first week, and it's just been transported all over the UK. Because Stephen Allison just came over here. It's him that runs the club here. He says he just wants to thank Martin McIntosh for setting up the Scott McIntosh. Scott McIntosh for setting up the tables. He's actually moved the tables here from Greenock last week.
yeah, the roadshow is very physically involved. The same table. So they've been kept in pretty good nick, considering it's been here, there, and everywhere over the last 4 months now.
Does look quite a good table. It's got the gold corners on it.
You're enjoying the aesthetic, are you?
As long as it's got 6 bags, it'll do me.
Well, Scott Ross has eventually gone game, as it were, and the glimmer of hope that was offered to Scott Gillespie has surely now been extinguished. He's just about got enough bounce for that cushion, or has he?
I think he's just on it, yeah.
Yeah, he's okay. Very nearly wasn't.
He's not going to be ideal on the black here, but should still get it. Preferably want that black in one of the corner bags. But
and he drops it in. Scott Ross is on the board. He'll be really pleased with that. No one wants to end up getting bageled in this competition. And he'll be pleased to get himself on the board. And it's always a nerve settler, isn't it, that first frame, especially for the amateurs as well, who aren't necessarily too used to playing on TV. As we remind ourselves of the last 32 here. These are all of our finals, so obviously we've got one gap for our final here tonight. There has been some absolute crackers along the way. There's been a couple of blowouts. Mark Farnsworth and Ronan McCarthy in particular were devastating in the early weeks, but it seems as the competition's gone on, the finals have just got that little bit more competitive and closer, and it's been fantastic to watch.
yeah, of course. Plus, I think if you qualify, you're automatically at the money stages, so it doubles up every time, every win. Basically, I think it's £250 you're on, just for qualifying. It doubles up each time. Yeah, each time you win. So
Yeah, 5,000 the winning prize for the total.
So it's quite a serious competition.
Is it one that you think has gone down pretty well on the circuit between the players? Has its reputation sort of grown amongst the circuit?
Yeah, of course. I think the IPA are doing really well at the minute. They're introducing all these new events, and it's pool's almost becoming something that you could make a living off. I mean, I think it was about 5 years ago. I mean, if you play in every tournament and win everything, I think you can make about 20 grand. Whereas now, if you win everything, you can make about 100 grand. So, but I don't think it's possible to do that, to be honest. Cause
well, I was just about to say the issue there is you've got to win everything, and
yeah,
the standard at the moment is so competitive.
Yeah. So I think the most you could probably win is about 30 or something. But no, the IPA have done really well at the minute.
Scott Gillespie at the table, and he did make a ball off his break, but he's got a couple of problems here. A few clusters around the table. Bangs that one in the bottom corner, nice enough though.
It's quite a tough shot if he's trying to finish this. He's got to obviously put that ball a lot of right hand side to kick the yellow out, but again, wouldn't be surprised if it turns into a tactical battle here. Just roll that yellow up and claim that bag. The yellow near the middle here, I think he's playing off the red in that far left bag, and that'll open it up for the other yellow to go in that bag as well. Good spot from Scott there.
Yeah, I must admit, I hadn't seen that at all. Oh, he just clips his
yellow.
yellow on the way through, and that's done for him.
It was perfect on that other yellow as well.
He has cleared the pocket out at least, but you see, he almost played the pot, as it were, too well. He wanted to miss it by more.
Yeah, it was similar to the shot in the last round. He was to try and put it off the ball and free up that bag for another ball, but he's just not got it.
Well, Scott Ross has immediately moved a red to make that pocket far less hospitable for Scott Gillespie. Went for the double there. That was nearly a very, very good shot.
And Scott's just going to roll up to the red in the cushion and snooker him here.
Scott Gillespie not even bothered to sit down. I think he knows exactly what's coming. See there, our first semi-final winner, just lurking in the background, watching on.
Yeah, seen him at the vending machine 5 minutes ago. I had to have one dig at him.
I think you earned that. Yeah, I'll give you that. That's quite a canny shot from Scott Ross.
There's Mark Bile in the background there.
He's almost just tried to make this frame annoying for Scott Gillespie, just clinging on. And it's amazing, isn't it? We had one safety battle at the top of the table, all cleared out now, and we've got ourselves another one.
Yeah, it's amazing because it was one shot away from almost finishing. If Gillespie played the shot right off the red, it would have opened up that bag, and he'd have put another 2 balls into that bag and finished it, and the frame would already be over. But because that one shot went wrong, Scott Ross had just came in, took control of the bag, and then safety battle begins.
Now, is he going to go for this?
Yeah, plot the ball in the close left bag and screw up the table off the yellow ball.
It's come out pretty nicely for him, you know.
Does the top red out the 2 go? Can't see from that camera angle.
I feel like we're about to find out. There's your answer. Now Scott Ross with a great chance to make it 3-2. Yeah, the shot that opened it all up has come off really well for him. No mistakes now. And he's making it close, heading into the break hit. Winner of this match plays Ryan Fleming in tonight's final. Nicely played this from Scott Ross. I think it's been the, aside from the safety battles, it's been the match we've been expecting so far. 2 players who aren't afraid to go for it and very comfortable once they've got their hand on the table. Scott Ross makes it 3-2. Scott Gillespie remains in front, but it's very close. Here's the stats as we look at it. Dry break from Scott Gillespie is only real error. There's been a fair bit of safety play as well between the 2 of them. And it's Scott Gillespie who has the advantage, 3 frames to 2 in our second semi-final. The conclusion of this match is next.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to this one. Yeah, just about to see Scott Gillespie go 4-2 up. That is live. We've only been off air for just over a few minutes, and Scott Gillespie has wiped through another frame there. Great stuff from Scott there, who's enjoying himself with a couple of mates behind him, and has taken possibly a crucial advantage. Stephen Jameson and Liam Dunster with you on the commentary. And Scott Ross now, I think it's almost written on his face, knows he's got an uphill task.
Yeah, he's no stranger to that, like I said earlier on. But no, I missed that frame there, so I wasn't sure how that frame planned out. But that was Scott Ross's break anyway, so he must have dry broke, and then Gillespie finished it.
Yeah, made short work of it, did Gillespie. He's in good shape now with a good break to potentially put himself one away. Cool, he got some power behind that. We're in the same room as these guys. The noise of that the ball crashing into the pack there through the headphones. He has crunched that. One of those where you wouldn't have been surprised to see 3 or 4 go down.
Go try and finish the yellow balls here.
Looks like he's got a little bit of work to do. Just the 2 top of the table. Doesn't go at the moment.
I think eventually no frame will take the yellow into the top left and kick that red out the way. That's a slow down. He's pretty straight on that yellow at the top left. Just wanting to leave himself a little angle to just kick that red onto the side cushion and be on his other yellow ball. I think I just seen from that camera shot there that the yellow ball actually goes in the middle back. Oh, has he still got an angle here? I thought it was really straight on that. Most an angle.
Well, key power is no problem when it arises for Scott Gillespie. He saw in his break how hard he can hit it. And
he's really close to that yellow, judging by that camera angle. So
he is, yeah.
tough shot here if he has to take the one next to the black.
Yeah, it's sort of a rock and a hard place really for Gillespie here, because this is very, very fiddly. See, he doesn't like it at all. And he's Johnny snooking on the other one.
Well, if he hasn't already used it, I think he'll use his extension for this one.
Yeah, no surprises there. Extension called. Looks like he's taking the fiddly one on. Oh, it doesn't go. That was a big chance for Scott Gillespie. First thing Scott Ross looks at is if that plants to the top right. If it does, He's in with a great shout.
If it doesn't, I think he just has to sort of roll up to it, and if he lands to the right of the two balls, then I think it's a good snooker. He tried to burst the two yellow ball, two red balls there.
That's far indeed, you know.
So that tells me that it's not a plant.
It's a good effort. He's running out of options to touch here. Only 2 balls other than the cluster.
Yeah, I think he's just going to roll up to these and, like I said, just to the right hand side of where the two reds are there now. Yep. Yeah, you can see the one next to the black, so it's not a total snooker. Don't think he's left the one over the bag anyway. But Gillespie looked at that straight off.
I think he can swerve around that.
No, he's not putting any side on that, so he's obviously on it.
Straight through.
Oh. I think that white actually was going towards the red and it's just curved away from it.
I think he's just about okay in the end.
Don't know if you'll be able to see it on the replay if we get one.
Yeah, he's alright. Was it? It's almost as if the balls had a magnetic force on them, wasn't it? Just that little edge away is all he needed. And Scott Gillespie now, after the original poor shot, which gave Scott Ross a chance in this frame, will surely now go one away from home and place in the final against Ryan Fleming. Simple enough setup. Simple enough black. Scott Gillespie is 1 from home. And you mentioned, Liam, that Scott Ross loves a comeback. Well,
Yeah.
this would be...
It'd be ideal for him to get one here.
Yeah, it'd be some effort, wouldn't it? This is the last 16, a reminder of what we've still got to kicks off next week in Chester. Mark Farnsworth against Christian Phillips, and Simon Ward will play the winner of tonight's action. Now you see your name, Liam, against Drew Hughes. He played really well in his group to get through. And wherever you look there's some fantastic matches. It should be really exciting.
Who was it that Drew Hughes beat? Was it Raybone?
I think it was, yeah, Neil Rayburn, I think, was the group. I think it was in Sheffield or Chester, if I remember correctly. I don't have the notes immediately to hand, but yeah, he came through, played really, really well in the final. It was a 6-5 win, if I remember correctly. It's oh, and he's kicked it off.
3 balls and then the white drops.
And that could be that, because look at the spread. That's so unlucky for Scott Ross. Similar to Gillespie in the last frame, he's absolutely crunched the break, and look how unlucky that is. Gillespie here just really has to keep his head, because this should be straightforward. All the balls out in the open, he could go either colour and there wouldn't really be a bad choice.
Yeah, I think Scott Ross knows that he's already played his last shot in this tournament.
Will be a frustrating way to cut out on a break like that. Cruel in a way, but this is, again, that is so unforgiving.
And like we see again, it's just all down to the break. Look at my stats here, Scott Ross hasn't actually missed a ball. It's just safety shots that he's played, and then Scott Gillespie's took an advantage from that.
Yeah, just to confirm for you, Liam, it was 650 Neil Raybone in Chester. Already done the business in Chester. And is it something that you're looking forward to, though, getting into the next round? Because obviously the format continues with even with the last 16 in the quarterfinals. It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, like I say, first to six. It's not a massive race, so it'll be interesting. Again, it's going to be all down to the breaks. Whoever's breaking well and then consistently finishing from there is going to win, to be honest.
Right, some really mouth-watering ties in prospect as well. One that's been set up for a very, very long time. Ronan McCarthy and John McAllister, two of the informed players on the tour this year, set to meet in the last 16. And Scott Gillespie is going to hope to join them.
This is for another reverse dish as well.
So black for the win and a place in the final. He's done it. Scott Gillespie makes his way through to face Ryan Fleming in tonight's final. Harsh on Scott Ross, especially the way that it finished, but I think Scott Gillespie, the deserving winner in the end there, Liam.
Yeah, I've just accidentally pressed breaking dish there rather than reverse dish, so it's actually two reverse dishes and one breaking dish from Scott, so he's playing really well at the minute. And like I said earlier on, missed pots, no missed pots there from Scott Ross that I've got. It's just purely down to the breaks. That was it. He's actually played quite well there.
He has indeed, and I think that will always be the source of a bit of frustration, especially with the way that it ended his last shot of the tournament. Really unfortunate break, but we'll hear from Scott Gillespie and we will have tonight's final. That's coming up next after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Yeah, a very warm welcome back to players in Falkirk. IPA Freesports Champions Cup. Just our second semi-final. Scott, congratulations for the win. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm over the moon. As I said, I wasn't really expecting much to win this match because I've not played 8-ball pool in maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but over the moon and delighted to beat Scott, who's a very tough opponent.
And what do you think was the key to that match? Because it seemed to and fro a lot at the start, but you seemed, in scoreline terms at least, you seemed to get well ahead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, right off the bat, I've broken dished, which also puts the pressure on Scott. The second frame, he was probably in command, and I've took it a good finish to go 2-0 up. And then at 3-1, there was a changing point, a 4-2, it was either or. Scott's tried to snooker me and left me on my hanging ball, which was a big frame. And then obviously he's unlucky to get off in the break in the last frame. Yeah, of course. And in terms of this final, are you looking forward to playing Ryan and hopefully, obviously, advancing through next week? Yeah, well, it's an arm match, so always I'm looking forward to it. I'd be on the way home if I wasn't, you know what I mean? So I over the moon and buzzing for this match. Well, wish you all the very best of luck. Thank you.
Just reviewing his victory there over Scott Ross 6-2. Now progresses to the final. Scott Gillespie against Ryan Fleming. So that's Ryan Fleming against Scott Gillespie for the final tonight.
Yeah, should be exciting. Looking forward to that. Just dash back from the
yeah, both convincing victories there, 6-2, 6-2. So it'll be good.
Well, a bit of deja vu from last week, of course. You and Mark both winning 6-2, 6-2. Something had to give in the final.
I think Scott Gillespie is actually favourite in this one. I think he'll maybe be about 1-2 in the bookies. 8-13 round about there.
And especially with the way he played as well in that second semi-final, seems full of confidence. He was saying he's not played any 8-ball pool in the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's played world rules and 9-ball and stuff like that.
He was playing with Jason Shaw there in the World Cup of pool, the 9-ball. So he's not quite used to the size of the balls here. Obviously a 9-ball table was bigger size table, bigger and heavier balls, so he won't be quite used to it yet, but he's adapted pretty well.
Yeah, he certainly has, and it was interesting actually. He said in his chat before the interview, I sort of asked him, how do you think it went? You know, off the record, he said, I'm really pleased. You know, I'm not the type of player to hang around. And as soon as the ball started going in, I just felt like I could attack everything. And
yeah, I don't think I even heard a single bleep in that game, to be honest. Which means they're all less than 35 seconds per shot. I mean, a few of them used their extensions, but there wasn't a lot of times that they had to rush shots.
Yeah, in terms of Ryan, he got through against Dan Davey. Certainly the bigger upset perhaps in terms of the semi-finals. Dan initially coming into this night as the pre-group favourite, and Ryan might take a bit of confidence from that, but it's always an interesting dynamic with the player coming in off the second semi-final. Always just seems to carry that little bit of momentum straight into the match.
I actually think Scott Gillespie was favourite to qualify this one, even though Dan Davey was actually the professional seed here. That was the same last week. I was the professional seed, and it was actually Mark Boyle that was the favourite to qualify. But Scott Gillespie is playing really well at the minute, so he's definite favourite for this match.
Yeah, it should be a really good final. The two players just milling around the table at the moment, just taking in the atmosphere and speaking to a few of their pals. Pretty vocal at the minute. Well supported this event, which is good to see. Now, this is a club that you've been to before, and in terms of the players who play here pretty regularly, it's a bit of a hot spot for Paul in the area.
Yeah, I think that's mainly to do with the man behind the scenes. Like I mentioned, Stephen Allison gets known as Santa.
And any reason why he's known as Santa? I've got to ask.
I don't actually know. I've just went with everyone else calling him Santa, so that's his name. But yeah,
No
he's,
further questions.
He just loves his pool.
So I think I'm right in saying, from speaking to Mark last week, he's literally around the corner from here.
Mark.
Boyle.
Oh, Mark Boyle. Yeah, he's literally a few minutes drive away. Yeah. Ryan Fleming. He's from Dundee, so that'll be over an hour away from here. Scott Gillespie, I think he's pretty nearby. I think he's only maybe 20 minutes away or something, half an hour. The furthest travelled is obviously Dan Davey. He's from England.
Yeah, he had a bit of a journey today.
Yeah, I think he actually came up yesterday, I think. Maybe last night.
I think so, yeah. I didn't have a huge amount of time to chat with him ahead of tonight, but I think that will be almost doubly sore with the way his defeat worked out for him. The fact it was in the first round as well. After travelling such a long way, it will be a tough pill for him to swallow. There is Ryan Fleming, who is in the first semi-final. Played really well actually, which was good to see. Looked straight off the bat, straight out. Played really well. He's going to break second in this one, which is a good chance to test how.
Yeah, I think it was both of the games actually. It was a breaking dish from the opening player. In both the matches, obviously Ryan Fleming first match went on to win it, and then Scott Gillespie done it in the second match, and he went on to win it.
Scott Gillespie, we're hoping history repeats itself in that sense. He's got a good break again. Ball down at the top corner there, you just saw the red go. And he's got another really good spread. Cluster at the bottom of the table is maybe something to iron out, but I think when you have the first break in a final, you're pretty pleased if this is what you're faced with.
He's not on too much here. I think he's going to have to take the yellow on in either the middle bag or the corner bag, and then eventually in the frame get on the yellow to the bottom right bag as we look, and then that'll automatically get him on the one to the to the close left bag.
Looks like he's taking the red on. It's a thin little cut. He just hasn't quite got it. Played too thin in the end.
I thought all the yellows went there. And with the reds, that red at the close right there, don't think that goes. I thought we just took yellows there, that surprised me. I think his plan that frame may have been to put a red onto the yellow and red down here at the close right and plant that red in. Don't know if Ryan's got the same plan here, if he's thinking about thin clipping this red in the middle here and developing it for this shot.
Looks like that's the plan. Evidently wasn't.
No, it's putting this one into the close left bag and developing it from there.
Does he have to be a little bit careful when that shot's eventually played, with the fact that he'll cannon pretty much full face into the yellow? He might not actually want to pop the red, and it looks like those two plant pretty conveniently.
Yeah, he'll just plan to sort of push the red near the bag and then hopefully land on it. Relying a little bit on luck here. Unless he plays it with top sort of off the top cushion first with a bit of side and kicks the yellow sort of directly away from the red, so he knows where the red will land.
Let's go with extension. Looks like it's a pretty toppy shot.
Didn't want that red to fall.
That's what a...
But he's okay. He just has to cue this one in.
Yeah, it's worked out okay for him. That's what I was just alluding to about 30 seconds previously. Could have worked out really badly for him if that... if he hadn't have ended up on a red. That one going in. I think he's okay. It's a difficult shot, but play it well, and it should be the first frame. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, centre of the bag there, played that real well.
dead perfect on the final red as well. He's cued really well tonight, Ryan Fleming. Still not sure if he's missed a pot at all. I can't remember one. He's been really clinical when he's been at the table.
Yeah, but this time he's going to take full advantage of his chance here.
Of course, it's one against the break as well.
Yeah, that's even better.
Black is sunk, and Ryan Fleming gets a reversal on Scott Gillespie. Could be a big frame that in the context of this match, especially as you alluded to at the start, Liam. It was a break condition for both players, which set them up for their respective wins. Here's a reminder of what Ryan's been up to recently on the tour. He's had a few very, very tough games there. The world champion in the British Open, Ronan McCarthy in the Welsh Open, and the English professional as well as John McAllister, Craig Marsh, Andrew McKee. First round of Scottish professionals, not a kind draw. He's only played very, very good players. And he's taken some of them all the way, of course. Craig Marsh and Andrew McKee, only very narrow defeats again with Christian Phillips as well. He's been in these games, which is sometimes as a player I know that it's not always necessarily about getting the win. If you know you've played well and you couldn't really do an awful lot more about it, you still sort of keep the momentum, as it were.
Yeah, Ryan knows he's playing well. Obviously earlier this year he won the European title, European singles title in Bridlington. I mean, that was first to fives, I think, for most of the tournament. So again, that's all down to the break. First to five, you might not even get a shot in that. So breaks are really crucial in these short races.
Yeah, you just see that red sneaking in, one of the last balls on the move. I've seen that a couple of times on there. Even in this competition, a couple of finals have gone pretty brutally for a few of our players. Remember Simon Webb against Simon Ward, played 4 shots in the whole match.
The yellow balls here are actually really nice. It's just where the white is, he's not on anything easy. Don't think he's on the hanging ball. At the far end of the table from the white. He's taking his time here. Is he playing the 3-ball plant, or is he squeezing that red by the yellow? 3-ball plant. I only seen that shot at the last second. If he squeezed that red by the yellow, all the reds were actually pretty well situated.
Well, they still are in a way. I think the two at the top of the table continue to plant. He wanted to take that route. A couple of options to him. The yellow next to him now is pretty unfavourable though. Does look like reds. No, he's gone yellow.
Yeah, the first shot there, you put the red onto the yellow and potted the yellow ball, so he's Ryan's yellows here.
Oh, my apologies, yep. Got carried away with the balls not appearing at the bottom of the screen. Caught me off guard. So yeah, Scott very much reds, and we'll take this one. And then it was actually quite an important shot there from Ryan. This might be a very good one from Scott. Just misses the yellow for the skill shot.
This might be harsh, but I think I'm going to class it as a missed pot from Ryan there, because of course he was trying to pot that. He's not overly fussed about hanging the bag. He'd prefer to pot it, so I've got to count that as a missed pot.
Rules are rules.
Yeah. It's a tough shot here, digging down on the white.
He's done pretty well to almost circumnavigate the problem he had at the top right by getting right in behind that. So Very cute shot.
He's landed pretty good. I mean, it's looks like a natural angle to me, just to sort of float down the table and take care of the rest of the reds. Played it well.
It's not often that Scott spends this much time lining something up. He's very much a...
Yeah, he's not quite sure what one to take first. You can either take the red that's closest to in the centre bag, or you can take the one just above that in the far left bag. Just trying to work out what route you'd prefer to go.
Judging by his facial expression, I don't think he likes that an awful lot.
Yeah, I think he's left himself a bit further than he intended, but I think he's okay. He's just keen over that yellow there, over the bag. That's the only issue here. Just got to nip the white back past that yellow.
Good shot there. Pot was good. Might just have to come in and out of balk to get himself on the black, but pretty clear. Yeah, we'll definitely take that. Well, the final has followed no previous pattern tonight. These two made a habit of breaking and dishing in their semi-finals. And we've seen a break from the pair of them, and it's resulted in both of them losing out to their opponent. Scott Gillespie ties things up. There's a reminder of what he's been up to on the tour recently, one of the top amateurs around. And a couple of really narrow defeats to Toby Bolt recently, a very narrow defeat to Dan Davey as well. When he gets beat, doesn't tend to get beat by a lot, I think you can deduce from that. Is your play you've had much experience playing?
Yeah, I've played them quite a lot over the years. There's a Scottish ranking tournaments. I think there's about 5 a year. We come up against each other a lot in them. Because obviously we get to the later stages. I think it was only a few weeks back I played Scott in one of the major finals, Lee Kendall's tour. Beat me in the final.
We saw this in one of the later breaks in the second semi-final. Scott Gillespie has absolutely hurled that break.
Yeah, just everything going everywhere.
He's left absolutely nothing out there. That one. He's got 2 reds down and a yellow. A few options for him. Cluster in the middle of the table with the red and the yellow needs navigating, but other than that, it's a nice and open table. What would be your selection here if you had the choice?
I think it's just personal preference, to be honest with you. You could go either way here. If you was to go reds, now he's going yellows here, but if he was to go reds, he could easily put all them reds, and then one of them reds go in the middle bag, or even the top right, and then that automatically gets him on the red that's right next to the yellow. But if he's going yellows, he's only got one development shot, and I think he's going to play it as early as possible, so he's going to probably try it here. Yep, just develop that yellow. Use that.
Played that really nicely. His first shot actually was very good. Whether it was intentional or not, I could maybe give him the benefit of the doubt, and just nudging the black away from that yellow. He didn't need to do it, but just a nice little tap in the frame up with touch run.
I think his main concern was just getting an angle on that ball to develop his only really bad ball, to be honest with you. Should just be basic from here. Perfect for the yellow in the close left bag.
These could scarcely beat. More routine for Scott Gillespie, and if I had to break a dish, it was probably that one. Nicely played. Gillespie wins 2 on the spin with a fantastic breaking dish, and heads into a 2-1 lead. And this final remains very open. A reminder of what we've got coming up next week. We can't wait to get these knockout games underway. The last 16 commences in Chester. Mark Farnsworth takes on Christian Phillips. Mark Farnsworth had to wait since week 1 of the competition, which seems like an age ago now. Christian Phillips, I think, was in week 4 as well. So those two have had to wait for their fate for quite a while. They've known they're going to be playing each other for a while. I'm sure that chat's been had a couple of times on various tour events. And Simon Ward will be watching with bated breath for this one. He will be either facing Ryan Fleming or Scott Gillespie. And either way, I think we're in there for 2 really, really good semi-finals. You can pick anyone from those 4 to advance through.
Yeah, I think IPA Pro #1's probably the favourite there, Mark Farnsworth. He's Mr. Consistent, to be honest with you. Just seems to do well in almost every tournament he enters.
And Ryan Fleming has seen Scott Gillespie's break and just thought, wow, I'll match that.
He's really unlucky there. He's potted a few balls for the break, and he's not actually left like a routine finish here. It's a couple of balls he's went safe from both colours. There's the 2 yellows there at the right, which I'm not sure if they plant. And if he did go yellows, he'd have to probably double the black, and then if he goes reds, he's still got the 2 reds sort of down the close left here. He'd have to develop.
Yeah, it's a frustrating one for him. He's potted 4 balls off the break, absolutely danced them round the table, and he's not got a huge amount on. Shot clock ticking, extension called.
I mean, even if the yellows are planted, I don't think he's actually on anything. Does he try to swerve that round that to pot the hanging yellow? Yeah. So the yellows must be a plant. Looks like it's hitting the left jaw from the camera angle I see. But I think it might creep in.
In fact, I think he's going to take it on straight away. Well, there's your answer.
Yep.
Terrific
Straight
shot in the end. frames opened up for him, which I'm going to say he deserves after a break, which potted 4 balls. Do you think he'll worry about potentially developing the black, or will he be pleased to leave it as a double? I think we just got our answer there.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to kick the red next to the black and develop the black a bit more. But he's not done that, and
He's actually made it harder for himself as well.
yeah, I think that red's just blocked the double. But now looking at the black, I don't know if that creeps into the left centre. Don't know if the red next to it blocks it.
Yeah, just seen that last shot on the big screens around the venue here in Falkirk. He didn't miss that by a lot. So, our referee, so absolutely just cleaning the balls, just make sure everything is perfect. Ryan Fleming not taking any chances in the final.
Time start.
Just drops.
A little bit short of what he meant to leave. It's quite a thin cut into the left corner. If he left it a little bit thicker, I think he would. Well, I think he's still got the angle here. If he screws it round off the side cushion, bottom cushion, he could potentially break into the black.
So something that players like to do is leave developing the black until the last possible shot. Does open up the risk of leaving absolutely nothing. Big shot this.
I'm not even sure if he's on the double here. Is he lining up the treble?
Looks like it, doesn't it? Let's have a look at both the options. It's not an easy shot, this, to say the least.
I think he's trying to put this in the left middle. Yeah, he's put it
Oh,
really
great
well.
shot. Terrific shot from Ryan Fleming.
There's a break in dish as well.
Couple of puffs to the cheeks. He's pretty relieved there, I think. See his brother just sat behind him, offering him words of encouragement, and no doubt a few words of, "Oh, you got lucky there, mate." Terrific shot then under pressure. Could be a really important one when we look back at the end of the final.
Yeah, I think his intention there was actually, before pointing his last ball, I think he was trying to get a little bit further up the table so he could contact the black a bit thinner and then play the double. But I think where he's left himself there, he's kind of forced to take the treble on.
Scott Gillespie, I'm going to say, looks considerably more relaxed and at home in this environment.
Scott Gillespie's break. 2 frames off.
Did mention he didn't feel particularly nervous in his semi-final and wasn't particularly nervous heading into this final.
Another great break there.
You can see the spin on the ball as well. That was incredible, really.
And all the reds go here. So do all the yellows.
Watch this white ball here. Almost span back into the pack. That was
Yeah,
how
I think
much.
it got kicked about 3 times there.
Yeah.
And then landed right in the centre of the table.
I think you're right. His big decision here is deciding which colour he's got to go for. No right or wrong answer, really.
I think if the black goes in the sort of close right bag here, then I think he'll opt for reds.
Extension.
I'll see if we can get a look at that, because that would give us the answer. It's very tight.
You can see a member of the audience there trying to look if the black goes in that bag. I think it might squeeze in, but you'd need to be really good on it. Because of that, I think he might go yellows. Still going reds.
He's got plenty of options, of course, to look to move the black if he wants to.
I think he's going to leave this red at near the black till last and just run it through. And the black goes into the left centre. If it went in the close right bag, then I think he'd play it in there. But I think he'll put the black in the left centre.
Played that nicely. Should be pretty routine this then for Scott Gillespie. So we could be heading for another close final.
For another breaking dish as well.
Really hasn't been too many errors in this game at all.
No, just a 1 pot each, I think.
I think they came in both of the first two frames from memory, both breaking their opponent's serve, as it were.
Just the 1 missed pot each. He's ran on a little bit further than he meant to. Like I say, I'll just try to leave it relatively straight and roll through, and as we can see from that camera angle, the black in the left centre. Might need to kick into the black here. Always missed the pot.
Oh,
I think he's just took his eye off the pot there. He's just a little bit annoyed. He left himself in a little bit of a bad position there.
it's a surprising miss. And it can only be. He was concentrating so hard on what he was doing with the white ball. I'm not sure even if he had a great shot on the black in the end, even if that had dropped in. He could have probably just dropped it in the bottom left, but it wasn't easy.
A few options here for Ryan. He could play the skill shot or the combination shot, whatever you like to call it. The very first shot here. Just put the yellow straight onto the red, and then the yellow follow through into the same bag. Or he could go for the snooker. I think he's just clipping off this and snookering him here.
I think the risk with the skill shot there is if the yellow doesn't go in.
Yeah, it's just basically lossy frame because it's just an easy visit for Scott to just nudge off a yellow, get straight in the black, and then pot the black.
I'm just trying to see if there's any way. Scott's got an easy shot here. He knows if he hits it, he's pretty much.
I think he's coming off the
guaranteed.
bulk cushion and then just straight down, maybe even go the side cushion before he pots the red. Just
Looks pretty
side
good.
cushion
Good.
and then red.
Oh, he's missed it by a whisker.
+1 visit.
Did not miss that by a lot. Just needs to touch it, and it was in.
If you hit that a little bit firmer, it might have had a chance to straighten up a little bit and just clipping that red in.
So No surprise there to see Ryan getting rid of that.
Yeah, using his free shot, just potting a red, making sure all his yellow's going to that bag.
No more obstacles now. This is a practice exercise for Ryan Fleming.
Yeah, pretty routine finish here. I think Ryan finishes his 99 times out of 100.
We might have said the same about Scott's finish in this frame. I suppose the only thing that Ryan doesn't have to worry about is his opponent's balls on the table.
Yeah, I think Scott had to be a bit intricate there with his last few shots. Getting a bit perfect, but he's just overran it a few inches here. Sorry there. And whereas Ryan can almost take these in any order, and he's virtually going to finish it from wherever he lands.
Wiped its feet a bit.
Yeah, he's actually not perfect on this second last ball here. I think he can just drop it in, go off 2 cushions and put the yellow into the right centre. Can go various different ways about this.
But he's done a little bit of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other there.
I think he's overhit that a little bit there.
He was in the bottom corner. If he'd have played it a little bit softer, he was in the middle. As it is, it's a bit halfway house, that.
I think he's got to play this confidently. Go off 1, 2, 3 cushions and play the black in the corner. 1, 2, 3, perfect.
That's good recovery. Perfect shot, actually, in the end. Left this one absolutely unmissable. And it's 3-2. Ryan Fleming will head into the break in the lead. That's a big frame to win. Race to 6, only 3 from home. And young man is in front, not by a lot. It's been a very, very close game, and been an impressive game as well, as they've both really gone for it.
Yeah, there's been a few dishes in this one. Breaking dish and a reverse dish here from Ryan. There's been a breaking dish from Scott. He's unlucky there to not get a breaking dish in that one.
Well, we'll find out where this final's going to end up. It's all coming up next.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing. The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to the final session, as it were, of this final group in the IPA Champions Cup of pool here on Freesports. Stephen Jameson and Liam Dunster taking you through this one. Ryan Fleming at the table. This is a crucial shot. He's not quite got it. That yellow will be hanging over the edge of the pocket. He'd have had a very, well, he'd have had a decent chance at making it 4-2. Whether the yellows come out in the end, I'm not sure how good a chance it would have been, but...
Yeah, well, we were away there for the break. Ryan broke, got a ball, potted a few, and then played a good safety. Scott played one back, and then Ryan's at the table, and then he's obviously just missed that plant there.
Scott with a double.
Yeah, good shot. Now he's on his washed ball on the table.
In the background there's the wry smile from Ryan. I think he knows this frame's got a very good chance of going away from him now. Scott Gillespie has not been in too forgiving a mood tonight. He's not missed many pots, not wasted many chances. Did have a feeling this final might be a bit of a shootout. So far it's exactly what it has been. No real safety play as of yet. He doesn't like that shot at all.
I didn't actually see the shot there, but obviously Scott's getting away clean straight away. I'm not sure if there was a dodgy contact on the ball there.
He's ended up a good 5 or 6 inches short. He wanted to be as straight as possible on this, you know, to make it much easier than it is now. Spin it around the bottom cushion. This is very missable. And just has to be careful of getting onto his last stroke as well.
Yeah, just has to sort of maybe even go into that yellow at the top right and just stop it there, and then the red will go in the left centre. Yeah, perfect.
Played it really, really well. The rest of the frame should now be routine after that. Had to earn the right to play these next 2 shots with a very good shot. Rest was a formality. It is going to be 3-3. We're tied up again. Scott Gillespie brings it back together. Now it looks like as he walked away in front of us, Scott Gillespie just going for a little bit of a comfort break. So let's remind ourselves of what we've seen already in the Champions Cup. This graphic can now be completed. 6-2 wins for Scott Gillespie and Ryan Fleming. All of our last 64 matches have now been played. Incredible. I would say it's flown by, but it's been a marathon, not a sprint. It's been a great competition. So many different games been thrown up every single week. This is the second half of the draw, and some good ones in this half as well. Andy Lucas, Ben Davis, I mentioned earlier, was a particular favourite, but in between Jason Remington and Michael Rhodes. Michael Rhodes, who I think was 1 frame away, and 5-3 up if memory serves. But Jason Remington came back in that one. We've seen some great matches, and I only expect them to get closer as the competition sort of goes in from now.
I was going to mention David Adnall there, who's obviously from the Isle of Man. He's beat a good player, Gary Clark, and then he's went on to beat Gareth Ibbott. I think the bookie's seen that as a major shock, but no, he's improved a lot over the last year or so. Gave me a close run in the last tournament as well.
Oh, and Scott Gillespie goes in off. And the way that these have shaped up, this is something of a gift here for Ryan Fleming. I think that's the unluckiest in-off we've seen so far. Just in a sense he was always a little bit close to that pocket. This is a really good chance now. Just needs to free up this yellow and
just develop that yellow now. All the yellow's going. It should be 4-3 to Ryan.
The way these are all set up, it's literally like a stunned practice drill, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's ideally just clear that half of the table first, come down for this half, and then just leave yourself straight in the black.
Ryan Fleming was at practice. These would be going one by one in a matter of seconds. Just be careful not to overthink it.
It is perfect. Roll this one at the centre, roll the one in the left corner, then roll it into the right corner and straight in the black.
It's usually a sign of a really good player when they don't have to play a difficult shot in a break, but on this occasion it was a sign of a really, really good setup. This one for Ryan Fleming.
The yellows are just really easy. I mean, if you look at the positions of the reds as well, there's nothing sort of blocking any bags. They're not exactly in the middle of the table, you need to avoid them. They're all just kind of on the cushions. So
It was almost like a clearance that he had a couple of frames ago. Same sort of tariff, if you were. Go do a little bit with the white here. A bit straight, but
and I don't even think he's used a cushion in this visit because it was
no,
just
he hasn't.
that easy.
Literally, as the first the first thing I said as soon as it set up, it was like a stunning practice drill. It really was that straightforward. And has to do the difficult work here, though. This is probably his most difficult shot. Routine, though, for Ryan Fleming. He bangs it in. It's 4-3 to Ryan Fleming, and to straight back. It'll be he who is to break next as well. And you so often see it in these close matches, how important the break is. In-offs can make such a big difference.
Yeah, well, if you go in off, you've pretty much written the frame off in your head, especially if you break them really well. I mean, everything goes, and the person could just almost waste a first shot, and it's just an easy finish. It's almost harder to miss.
Yeah, it's got quite a lot of regulars in around players tonight. I think all of them had a little peek over and gone, well, no, I could do that. It's not always so simple, of course. Fleming has been breaking well. He wants that to continue. White's been kicked around a fair bit. And I think he's come up dry.
Yep, first try break for Ryan.
Think of the entire night as well. This break has been so effective all evening long. You see there, plenty of movement. Only 4 or 5 balls below the halfway point in the table. And Scott Gillespie now. Big chance.
I just watched the replay there, and the white actually was coming back to the bottom cushion there, so he's actually hit pretty well. But he's obviously unlucky that nothing's went. He's actually hit the brake really nice.
Time out.
I think Scott Gillespie just getting the white cleaned. I think he's seen something on the white.
Time start.
I think that's 3 times now the white's been cleaned. I think I got pelters for doing it once.
Any other cases you'd like to address while you've got the opportunity?
No, not at all, no.
Prosecution rests. Scott here with a decent chance. Does have the air of a final that will go the distance, but it's probably been our quickest final that's gone this sort of length so far. There's really been no safety play at all, and as soon as the players got in, I think there's only been one instance where players missed and the opponents come in and swept up. It was Ryan Fleming a couple of frames ago. Other than that, it's been dish for dish, really. Great exhibition of pool.
Yeah, it's been dish for dish. There's been one safety shot that I remember playing. That was actually during the break, so I'm not sure if you'd be able to see that. And the 2 misses from Ryan, he's actually hung the bag on both occasions. Just try to kick that red fill in the face there and stop the white and open up the black ball. He's opened up the black, but he's not ideal.
Yeah, play some good pots here.
Yeah, I think he'll screw it over so he can play the yellow long and into the bag where his hand is at now.
Keyed that really, really nicely. Knows doesn't do anything with the white here, just concentrate on the pot. Nicely done. Smoothly done from Scott Gillespie. This match 2s and throws. Reverse dish for Scott Gillespie. So, good one to do it. It's 4-4 in the total. It's been a really good match to watch. Both players seem to be on it. They're playing really well, not making many mistakes. Just wonder if that starts to change as this match gets towards its finish. Players might get a little bit jumpy. Scott with the break then. Didn't get much of an explosion there. He does get a ball. There's a couple actually. It's come out all right for him. You can see here, watch the pack as the white hits it. Not anywhere near as much movement as he usually gets, but just by sheer force of the balls that he did send up the table, we came back and made it all right for him. He's had far better breaks than that and come up dry. I'll be pleased with the outcome of this one. A few options, I think. It all depends really on if the black goes past that red, but what would your thoughts be looking at this one?
Well, yeah, if you want to go reds, then it's not ideal that you take the red next to the red at the top there, and then you're kind of leaving that one ball by itself. Whereas if you go yellows, you've obviously got, well, the black goes in that corner actually, so the only tough yellow you've got is the one near the black. So either one, you've got sort of one tough ball for each colour. He's missed the first shot. It's not like it's got at all.
He just almost seemed in two minds, didn't he? Throughout there, took a long time to decide and never really looked settled on his decision.
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously trying to pot that red in the corner. I mean, I think his next shot was maybe to pot the red in this left corner and develop that one next to the black. Would have been a tough finish. But now that's what I think Ryan's doing. First shot is potting this, maybe a touch of left hand side and just touching the black and opening up that red. Missed it.
That was definitely his best chance to do that. Stares at it almost remorsefully.
Yeah, I think Ryan will probably use his extension here.
So he's playing safe.
Yeah, just opening up that red and not leaving Scott too much. I think Scott can actually push the yellow over the far left bag and sort of claim that bag. Don't think he can squeeze by that yellow to pot the one at the far right as we look.
That's what he's taking a look at now. Oh, no, he's going to play this one at the bottom of the table.
Safety shot back. Just develop. Thought he was going to develop that yellow there.
So it's a holding shot, we'll call that.
Yeah.
That was a really tough shot to take on. Almost played as a shot to nothing in a sense. Knew he wasn't going to leave Scott a lot to go on.
I think Gillespie can just cut this yellow down, and if he doesn't pot it, then he's at least got the bag.
And if you're just checking your watches and getting a little bit anxious, don't worry, we'll be staying with the final here till the end. As Scott Gillespie takes the bag, and almost perfect timing, really. We head into our first safety battle, taking a full 8 frames to get here, and first tactical frame of the lot.
I think he's forced Ryan into going for it this shot. He drops this one in the left centre. He's on the shot to pot the red in the right centre and kick into his red. And his plan will be to kick that red onto the yellow and leave the red over the bag. Looks a thin cut from there.
It really does, doesn't it? Thin cut it may be, but it will give him the angle.
Yeah, he's played that perfect.
Yeah, really good shot. Don't forget skill shot rules in black ball. You can pot your opponent's ball as long as you pot your own. And Ryan Fleming has taken full advantage of that stipulation, which I think is, in general, is very popular among the players to keep things attacking.
Yeah, exactly. It's very attacking. I mean, in different rule sets, you can sort of claim a bag, and then that's pretty much your bag because they're not allowed to pot your ball at all. But in this, you can obviously pot your ball, pot their ball, and it's fine. So taking a bag isn't as advantageous.
Pleased you got that word in, aren't you?
Yeah, very pleased. He left himself closer to the cushion than he would have liked. But he'll just want to pot this and leave himself a shot in the black to get himself on the hill. I don't think he'll be too picky here and play this with side to try and get a bit better in the black. I think he'll just play the centre ball, make sure he gets the pot.
Yeah, you can see there as he was queuing. That's exactly what he's doing. No risks taken.
Pretty slow.
Oh.
Yep.
He played it dead weight. It's just a miss, really. Just got the line wrong. Now this is a good chance. Scott obviously doesn't have the top right pocket to work with.
I think the one is straight on the left corner. He'll take that one first, and then go down for that one for the left corner again. And eventually in the frame he'll maybe even kick it out, but I think he maybe land behind the yellow.
Well, we saw him do that really effectively a couple of frames ago.
Just try to kick it out. He's done it good.
It's a good shot. Frame now really should be a gimme for Scott Gillespie. It's a rare mistake that from Ryan Fleming. Not seen a lot of them at all in this match. Indeed, the whole evening from him. Could be a really costly one. He left himself pretty good on the black as well, if it had gone in.
Yeah, I think he just played that a bit too delicately. I think if he just played it a bit more positive, just played it even a bit firmer, then I think he would have got it. I think this is the only shot that can go wrong here for Scott. Just has to pot it, go on and off the cushion, get the yellow in the same bag. Just playing the yellow for the close left corner.
This was always going to be such a crucial frame. Race to 6 at 4-4. It puts either one of them one away from home.
First glance there, I thought he was straight in the corner, but he's not. He's got a bit more angle than I thought, so he's going to take this in the middle, I think now. Two cushions.
Nicely played.
Ryan will be kicking himself here.
Could be a match-defining miss, that one. Oh, Gillespie goes one from home. his corner, as it were, keeping him pepped up throughout the night. Looking pretty pleased with that. It's a bit of a steal. Fleming had the chance there. And he's bidding to become the final name on that list. Stars wherever you look. Mark Farnsworth, Ronan McCarthy, Craig Marsh, Christian Phillips. All 4 of our first 4 seeds in the opening month of the competition went through. Jason Remington broke the spell by knocking out Jordan Shepherd in Sheffield. Lee Warren then was the first and only qualifier, Riley's qualifier, to go through. What a magical moment that was in Solihull. Jack Whelan and John McAllister, Dave Nadnall were all fantastic. Drew Hughes then knocked out Neil Rayburn, which was a shock. Simon Ward scraped through in Neath. Toby Bolt knocked out the world champion Ben Davis. Mark Pickworth caused a bit of an upset in Solihull. Gavin Robinson grinded one out in Sheffield, and the man himself, easy wasn't it last week?
Not at all.
Have you had a chance to chat much with Marco after the final that he had last week?
Yeah, no, he just says the only difference really was the break. Like I said earlier on, I think well, I broke and went in off my first break, and then I broken dish, then broken dished. So and I think he only got 1 ball off the break or something. So I think that was the difference.
Ryan's gone for a big break there. Has that come up dry? He has.
Not a good time for Ryan to get a dry break.
Just trying to see if Scott's actually got a pot on here. It's a little bit congested around the white. It's a horrible time for Ryan to go dry again. But he might. Oh, he's got the red, hasn't he, to the top of the table? But I don't think Scott looks particularly happy with his lot.
No, I think he'll want to go yellows here, but there's not one on. I think he's perhaps on the double. The yellow at the top right here, he can actually double onto the yellow that's over the bag.
Yeah, he's calling his extension. This could be an important shot.
And that almost leaves him perfect for the one next to the black, and then the yellows are finishable from there.
That's exactly why it's such an important shot. Looks good. Oh, doesn't get it. Oh, Ryan Fleming back. Have to go.
Oh, I thought that.
And he knows how much of a chance that was. Look at him.
Yeah, I thought that was it. I thought that was game over. I think Ryan would be thinking that as well. Ryan has to get these to make it 5-all.
Big visit this for Ryan, and just making sure with every shot. Going to take his extension. I think he'd be pleased he's got the yellow over that top corner pocket. Oh, I say that.
Did a poor shot there.
Yeah. I thought he'd use that yellow to almost use as a second ball plant with the one on the left cushion, make it easier.
Yeah, I thought they'd left that as a sort of insurance, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Scott's always got the 2 balls sort of near that bag, especially the one on the cushion near that bag. No, I think he just ran out of position there his first shot, so he felt like he had to take that one on. But he's played quite a poor shot there.
See the angst in his face. He's already used his extension. Clock's ticking, and all of a
I think
sudden
he was lining up the cut here in the middle bag, in the right centre bag. That's a really tough shot.
doesn't get it. That could be
Very costly.
And I love how we've got to a Chuckle Brothers stage of finishing each other's
Yeah,
sentences, but absolutely. It could be very, very costly indeed. These reds are not easy, but they are gettable. And that, I think, is the best example we've seen in a little while of the shot clock really having an effect, because he had to play that very rushed.
Yeah, he'd prefer, if that was the minute shot clock, I don't think he'd have a problem with that, but he's obviously a little bit rushed there. Already used the extension, so he had to hurry up and play a shot.
We'll come back to the table though. Scott playing the snooker, or not snooker, the safety shot rather.
I think Ryan's just planning on clipping his yellow and then putting a red safe over at the side. Yep, good shot.
I think those two might plant though. The player is aggressive as Scott. You wouldn't be surprised to see him try and take these out here.
It's just his opening shot. I don't think I can see an opening shot from here. So I think he'll have to play a safety shot first before he considers going for it. Yep. Got a good shot there now. Now he'll consider finishing it. Next shot. I think he would have liked to play that just a touch harder so that the red next to the white actually goes in that corner as well. And the double. Got it.
Cool, what a shot under pressure.
Great shot.
Well, backs to the wall. When he needed it most, Ryan Fleming has come out fighting. It's a great shot. He's not got an easy finish, but it's there for him, and it has to go.
I think the ball is just kicked. He's closest to is his only shot. Goes into the sort of close left bag. But even then, the white's sort of going up the table to the left. It's not easy from here. It really isn't.
Well, the pot's good.
It's just telling the white ball to stop, but it hasn't stopped in time.
Oh, it was close, wasn't it?
Judging by his body language, he's obviously not on that.
Mm.
If it was about half a ball worth shorter, I think he'd be on the ball to the bottom left.
Yeah, he would. Explains the facial expression just a moment ago.
And if he's not on it, then there's not a lot of shots available here.
He's running out of time to play with. 15 seconds. What can his mind come up with? Double off the red.
Well, that's turned out right at the end. I thought that was going slightly inside the red, and then it's just sort of waved away.
Yeah, it did a little bit, didn't it? Don't think he had enough on it to send it in off the red either way. Scott here, make no mistake, will look to take this out and look to secure his place in Chester next week.
I think Gillespie was fearing the worst there when he's missed a double his first shot. But he'll be relieved to get back to the table anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah, he wouldn't have wanted it to go 5-5. Especially having had a chance to win it. come out very nicely for him.
I think he's almost, well, he's got two options here. He can either put the ball as closest to in the bottom left bag, or he can just almost hit it full in the face and snooker him, but I think he'll go for the first shot.
He's a very aggressive player.
Is he on that? Did not think he was on that at all.
Oh, he could sneak by it. He could, because I think it was next to the yellow. He's been able to play the side of the ball and still get it in. I don't think you could see the almost the natural tossing angle, as it were, to pot it clean. And he's almost got away with that.
Yep, you can just pull this white back about half an inch and then just sort of pot the one in the bottom left, stun over, and that should be game over.
It's amazing, isn't it, how even the most confident, the most relaxed players even still get a little bit jittery in the final closing moments. Scott Gillespie hasn't done anything like a shot like that all evening long. It's so clinical. Two more to come. This is the one. If this black is routine, just size it up, front and back. And he makes it. The crowd here in Falkirk well aware. This black is straightforward for Scott Gillespie to claim his place in Chester. Big reaction for the big man. He absolutely loved that. Here's a roar of come on, and he is through to the final 16. What a good win. That was a close, close final between two very, very well-matched, good players. Final verdict, Liam.
Well, I think at the later stages there, Ryan could have took his chances there to make it 5-all, but when he did miss, Scots took full advantage of it, so fair play to him. And yeah, I mean, he had one breaking dish, one reverse dish, so 2 dishes, and then Ryan's had 3 in total. So and there was a few missed pots, as you can see from these stats. So
he did get a bit jittery towards the end.
Could have went either way, yeah.
It was so, so close. Scott Gillespie, though, has got over the line. We'll hear from him next after the break.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.
Welcome back to Falkirk. Well, it's a dramatic final here with our winner, Scott. First of all, how do you feel?
Oh, I'm delighted with that win, as you've probably seen at the end there. I mean, I've waited 16 weeks for that, and just to actually play tonight, it was a great wee buzz, a good wee, always a buzz, because always the venue was quite packed, which was good. But no, I'm over the moon because, as I say, I've watched it every week non-stop, and eventually for my week to come and win it is, I'm delighted.
And of course, it doesn't really stop for you. You're in action next week against Simon Ward in the last 16. I know you've not had a huge amount of time to process it, but what are your thoughts ahead of next week in Chester?
Yeah, I mean, me and Simon get back along well. We've known each other for the juniors days. Simon's a great player, I'm a great player. It all comes down to the breaks in these I mean, we're 2 top players. I mean, everybody in the last 16's a top player, so it's going to come down to the breaks.
And how excited are you to be a part of that last 16? We just saw it on the screen there before we went away. Top players, wherever you look, difficult groups. It's going to be a really tough competition to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest, no disrespect to any other group, but I think this was one of the toughest groups there. So to come through that and be part of the last 16, yeah, it's always like made my last couple of months a dream come true, because I played really well.
Well, nothing less for us to do than to congratulate you and wish you all the very best luck. We will see you next week.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well done to Scott Gillespie, securing his place in the last 16. Here are a list of all the players here. Mark Farnsworth from qualified in Washington, Ronan McCarthy, Craig Marsh, Christian Phillips, Jason Remington, Lee Warren, Jack Whelan, John McAllister, David Adenall, Drew Hughes, Simon Ward, Toby Bolt, Mark Pickworth, Gavin Robinson, myself, Liam Dunster, and Scott Gillespie just there.
Incredible. There we go. It's been some rides, the IPA Freesports Champions Cup so far. 16 weeks of group stages. Can't believe we've got through them. We've got 5 more weeks of the competition left.
Yep.
And if you've enjoyed the first 16 weeks, the last 5 weeks are going to be something really special. There is just great games wherever you look. We'll put in Gillespie's name against Simon Ward there. We won't really touch on your game, just take a look around the other sort of, and you just see great matches everywhere.
Yeah, of course. I think they're all professionals there. I don't think just any amateurs. I'm not entirely sure if...
Toby Bolt, I think, and Lee Warren are the only 2.
In fact, Scott Gillespie's class as an amateur now still.
Of course, yeah, he makes the 3rd.
Other than that, they're all top professionals. Well, obviously they're top amateurs as well, the 3. Yeah, it'll be for great viewing, definitely.
They certainly will. Last 16, if you've enjoyed the format of semi-final, semi-final, final, it will continue. Each of these fixtures are classed in groups, so it's 2 last 16 matches and a quarter final. We will then have 1 final week in Solihull, 2 semis and the final. It's going to be a really entertaining final 5 weeks, this competition. And just give me your thoughts, Liam, on yourself personally heading into the final stages. And of course, who's played really well.
Yeah, he definitely deserves it. He's played really well in both matches there. He's a deserved winner, yeah.
Yeah, certainly has. And we're really looking forward for you to join us, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be the same time every week. We've got 2 weeks in Chester for the first 2 weeks of quarterfinals, and we then have 3 weeks straight in Solihull to round off the Champions Cup 2018. That is what we've got to come next week. Farnsworth versus Christian Phillips, Scott Gillespie versus Simon Ward. It is not an easy group to pick. That is incredibly close wherever you look at it. Got the IPA number 1, Mark Farnsworth, Simon Ward, the world finalist this year. He's in wonderful form. Scott Gillespie, who thinks he can beat anyone on this kind of form. And Christian Phillips, who is capable of doing it against anyone. He got to the latter stages of the Worlds as well.
Yeah, of course. Like I've said before, Mark Farnsworth I think will be the favourite going into that, and then probably it's a flip of the coin between the rest of them. There's no, I wouldn't say Farnsworth is heavy favourite there. I think the other 3 could easily beat anyone in a race to 6. So it's definitely exciting stuff to watch.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it might well suit the others as well. The style of the Champions Cup, it tends to go a lot with the breaks. It's so important. Someone like Scott Gillespie and Christian Phillips, who have big breaks, Simon Ward as well, including that. Maybe not Mark Farnsworth in terms of the braking. He might just have to work extra hard.
Yeah, I think he gets a tough time for his break, Mark Farnsworth. I've not actually watched it. I've not actually seen it as a weak point of his game. But yeah, other parts of his game obviously are much stronger. That's why he's one of the best there is. Christian Phillips, they've all got big breaks there. Scott Gillespie, as you've seen, he hammers the break. And Simon Ward, I don't actually think there's anyone that hits the ball harder than he does for the break. So they're all big breakers, and if the break works, then any one of them could qualify easily.
We can't wait to watch that. That is next week within our Chester once again the following week, then Solihull for our final 2 quarter-final nights, and then 1 finals night in Solihull Cup. We cannot to join you over the next 5 weeks. Same time next week on Freesports. Don't miss it. It's quarter-finals time, and we'll see you then.
The IPA Freesports Champions Cup pool is brought to you by Select Car Leasing.